Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Late Night EU session number. Oh my gosh, you
207.
could hear myself back in the. I did a very unprofessional thing. I let myself echo. Late Night 207. Thank you, Michaela. My name is James. I am here with Michaela, also known as Gamer Girl Law. Michaela, how are you doing today?
You know, it is one of those days. It is a nice, beautiful Wednesday.
Okay.
Is it Wednesday?
Yeah.
Can we be sure of that?
Yeah.
I think it's
So
Wednesday.
because we started a little bit late today, we're gonna kind of talk less about what's going on with the meta right now, and we're gonna jump right in. We will be back with you in 2 seconds as we get this started. See you guys in a
Stellar
sec.
crown. Stellar crown. Stellar
Palkia,
crown.
let's go.
Stellar crown.
Go ahead.
Interesting matchup. We've dropped into what looks to be a Miraidon mirror, but appearances could be deceiving because I see a Terra type electric Mewtwo on the bench. What could that be about? Maybe that's to trigger the increased stadium size with the new Area Zero Underdepths card that takes your bench from 5 to 8. Very valuable. There's another Terra Mewtwo across the field. It seems like this is a new Miraidon tech. Lists for these new formats have not quite stabilized yet, so let's take a look and see what our competitors are playing in their deck lists. Get a good idea of why this Mewtwo is there when it attacks with Psychic Energy, and Miraidon is usually not using that type. There's also a Judge. That's not always played a Miraidon, but there was a good span of time where that was classic. You could path to the peak Judge, your opponent has 4 cards, and you've already got a set up board. So what are they doing? And the answer is nothing. The answer is they're doing nothing.
From what I understand, there is a lot of Miraidon decks that are going around that are taking advantage of the expanded board so that they can attack with Raikou and get a bonus hit here and there. And I've
That's
even
good.
seen some lists play Noctowl. I don't think that's correct, but it's very spicy, if I do say so myself.
I mean, I think there's an argument for, because there's so little card draw in Miraidon in general. Wouldn't it be cool to have search 2 cards out? You know.
Well, I'm not against it, right? Like, if you think, the more you think about it, the more you're like, this could work. But as we look here, we are seeing what looks to be, man, the Miraidon mirror match was not something I was expecting to see in top today. But here we go.
Absolutely
the
not.
Ultra Ball fetching the other Miraidon. That, man, just looking at the electric generator, we are basically ready to go.
Ooh, double generator hit.
Oh
Woo.
my gosh, you never see that nowadays.
It feels good.
It's
Especially
insane.
if of a full deck, 35, I mean, like, it would have been 37, but 37 cards hitting 2 electric with 2 already on the board. Mwah, chef's kiss.
It is kind of crazy.
Boss for Luminion.
Oh my lord.
No prisoners. No prisoners.
Nothing.
Woo.
Nothing happening here. Nothing good happening here, I should say. You know, Miraidon is always Miraidon's worst matchup. I say that. It's not actually true. Don't believe me. But
It's the mirror Rhydon.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, you know what? Being able to have that Bravery Charm on that Raikou V is going to make all the difference for trying to make sure that you hit that magic number. And not just that, but, you know, you always find yourself in this, like, weird position where you have stuff such as, like, the Terra Stadium, where it expands the bench, since everybody's kind of teching into that now and leaning a little bit more into that. You see folks not wanting to play that down because they don't want to give the advantage to their opponent.
Yep. Yeah, figuring out when to time your Area Zero Underdepths is crucial in this new format, and no one's really got it solved yet, but there's a ton of extra use cases that people may not immediately remember, because your bench expands to 8, but you can also contract it back down to 5 and use it almost like people used Collapse Stadium to get rid of huge, target problems. So late game, you could get around a Kyurem from Regidrago. You could get around, obviously, Palkia and Raikou damage counts. You could do a whole lot of extra fun things with Zero Underdepths that you may want to hold on to late game.
This is such a cool and interesting meta, right? I always love being on late night and watching late night when we don't have a clear like representation of what is currently happening.
And this is the tournament to really get the first good look at what the meta's like, because this is where people will show up en masse, and we get 2 events to scrutinize. So that's like double dipping.
Oh,
you never double dip the chip.
Yeah. You're, man, I don't even want to think about it right now. Double dipping the chip, especially when you go to a party. Okay, but you know,
it's like putting your whole mouth in and swishing it around.
Very much so. But I'm very interested to see, like, I'm scouring for the list right now. I feel like I came to school without my homework, right? As I'm trying to find these lists to see if there's anything else coming out. But as we see there, like the Blood Moon Ursaluna, you know, coming in there, getting the knockout on the Miraidon. While that's huge at this point, and, you know, Blood Moon Ursaluna has what, 260? Not really going to get knocked out by the Raikou just now without expanding the bench. But we might see it. It might happen.
Well, we've got the bear. Now, the problem is that Ursaluna does 240, and with that Bravery Charm, Raikou is just 10 HP away from a one-hit KO. How are you going to get that extra 10 damage down?
I mean, we just hope for boss's orders, right? We hope and pray that we can, you know, just hit that. But also at the same time, like, looking at everything that's out there is a boss's orders in the hand for hitting for 160. You know, if we get... Again, you know, having to look at the lists and see what's up here. If we could get the lists and see, like, you know, are they running any Terapagos, or sorry, if they're running the stadium, the Terra Stadium, or anything else of the sort, it might actually do it. But we might just be sitting here at 2 prizes to 2 prizes, and kind of just hoping that, you know, you soften it up and you knock things out. But there comes
one of them has the Terra Stadium. Sorry to interrupt you, but I've got the list open. There's both of them. One runs 3 copies, one runs 2 copies. Jesus Riva has a Minior in the deck list. Hold on. Did that just get better with Area 0 Underdepths? No, it didn't. It's still a retreat cost. But that's fantastic for the mirror. Oh my goodness.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Looks like man, this is always the worst, right? When you're on that 2-2 prize and you're like, how am I going to solidify this? My deck can do it, but how am I going to get there?
Generator whiff is not going to help. Oh, no. That's worst timeline scenarios. All right. There's still a manual. And there's obviously the boss.
Right.
If they attack right now with Lightning Rondo, they're dealing... I gotta do mental math. I don't have enough fingers to count. No!
Oh my gosh.
100, 160, 180. So they can't knock out the opposing Raikou.
I guess, yeah. So Raikou is probably always the thing that they're looking to knock out here in this matchup, right? And
absolutely.
Oh my gosh. This is just not a good situation. You can't even just reluctantly, or, you know, not even reluctantly, you can't even just go, hey, I'm just gonna pass and hope that I put you in a really bad situation.
2-hit KO on the Mewtwo. That's interesting. I would have thought maybe the Pheasantipity, but if Mewtwo's retreat cost is higher, then that makes more sense.
Right. Oh my gosh, there you go. The Raikou doing its attack for 180.
Oof.
You know, who thought that the 2 Miraidon lists that we'd see in top 16 are the ones that would just play against each other? But there's the switch card coming in to heal 30 off of the Mewtwo.
Oh, boss switch card. That's like a Guzma. Oh, no. That's the game. Bonk. Bye-bye, birdie.
Oh, man. You know what, though? Honestly, it is very cool to see. It is awesome that we do get this new iteration of Miraidon that takes advantage of Area 0 Underdepths, as well as, you know, having the Mewtwo, right? We did see that Pikachu getting printed. That will possibly be the new Terra Pokemon that these decks are going to be running.
That new Pikachu that got revealed this week is terrifying. I like looking at it. It only has 200 HP, so you think, oh, it's just nothing. But the ability is so good. Being able to automatically survive through any kind of attack, as long as there's no ability effects turned off. People have forgotten how devastating that could be. Because a lot of these decks run so few switch cards that they rely on getting knocked out to switch their Pokemon around. So when you've got this massive Pikachu out here, you can't do anything to it. It's dealing 300 damage a turn, and it's a basic. I mean, how do you sleep with yourself at night?
All right, I got a real crazy idea coming here off the Void presses, straight off my brain. We have
He's
that
cooking.
Pikachu that can't get knocked out. Easy control, sits in the active. Since it can't get knocked out, you play Turos, you play things that bounce it. You get to the part where it is a control auto ad, obviously.
Exactly. Although they're doing the rounds this weekend on Twitter. There was a discussion of using the Copperaja that prevents you from putting down stadiums with neutralization zone.
Yup. Yeah.
It's disgusting.
It is so gross. But you know what isn't gross? The turn
What?
1 Miraidon start that I think we're going to see here from Chipper.
Yeah, double Greninja Radiant active beginning. That's unusual, but that means both players are going to get to draw cards because the odds of not having one of your 14 energy in hand, not even counting the double turbos, is very low. Ooh,
Is that
we
an
didn't see
iron
anything.
bundle on the bench?
That's a bundle on the bench, sir.
There's no... You didn't get anything else out. Maybe you're worried about getting knocked out with Raikou, right? Maybe you're
yeah! Oh, that has to be it. That has to be it.
like you don't want your Radiant Greninja to come out, so you're like, hey, look, I can't attack first turn, and there's a world where my opponent goes Electric Generator onto a Raikou and knocks me out if I flood the bench with Miraidon.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh. This is such a
And
cool
even if you just
matchup.
put down Lone Miraidon and then save the tandem unit for next turn, you could still get knocked out by your opposing Pokemon's Miraidon.
Yep.
With 2 generators. So why would you even bother?
Especially right now in the meta where you have the Area 0 underdepths.
Mm-hmm. But we will see an attack from this side of the board. There's the tandem unit. Who's coming out? Tandem unit for Mewtwo is just such a fun combo concept.
Right.
We're not seeing it, but it's a fun combo concept.
I'm
Raikou
very
or
confused though, right? Because you'd think, oh, maybe they prized another Miraidon. Did you see that?
I didn't see a second Miraidon, so I could believe it.
I wonder if we're at the point, because usually, like, if you're just going ham and you're extending out as far as possible, you go like Miraidon Mewtwo, then you go Miraidon again. I'm not quite sure. Here we go. We have what looks like maybe the Prime Catcher's there, but what could we search for that gets us out? I mean, if you take one prize early, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it worth it?
I mean, we're gonna see a Squawkabilly.
Right.
Oh, I don't like Squawkabilly away the Prime Catcher, but I think you have to.
Maybe use the Prime Catcher first.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Ooh, Prime Catcher first, and then even if you use the Prime Catcher first, what you can't do is Generator.
Oh no.
Oh, that's rough.
That's all right. You know what? Sometimes you have to make the worst choices. But it looked like it didn't really pay off.
Oh, we have a question in chat. Who is the matchup? This is Dylan M versus Jesus Riva. They are both playing Miraidon, as you can see. Switch cart. I guess a fleet-footed. That's a major whiff on that attack, though. It would be a
It's devastating.
real
if
shame.
Yeah, it's devastating if Greninja gets knocked out that early. Right? I'm curious. I guess you just have to manually retreat and you put up Greninja again?
What?
Oh.
What?
I mean, it makes sense, but oh.
This feels bad. Feels bad. Okay, hopefully our opponent comes out with a Miraidon, because if they didn't get him, oh, there it is. There it is. I was gonna say, if they used their Ultra Ball turn 1 and didn't get a Miraidon, and then had no other Pokemon search, I'd really want to ask what they're doing.
I mean, maybe they're, hoping for the best, right? Like,
yeah.
But
Fortunately, they were playing 4-dimensional chess all along. The Miraidon comes out. There's 2 Raikou. It is looking dangerous. I think we might see an attack.
yeah, I'm looking and seeing how this is such like a really cool and interesting matchup, because you don't want to enable each other's Raikous, and it's kind of like the same way you almost play into Palkia as well, right?
Yep.
Because you don't want to enable Palkia V-Star. But here we go, Iron Bundle getting sacked to get that Radiant Greninja out. A 2-prizer has to go up.
Ooh, and after all that manually retreating and scooting around and all that feels bad. I mean, you have to do it.
Right.
But Iron Bundle is just so great for that mirror moment.
I wonder if it's actually being played in the other list as well. Let me take a quick look.
Let's have
Jesus
a little
Rivera
look-see.
is playing no Iron Bundle, but is playing the Minior just in case they get stuck into the Snorlax matchup.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Are you reading what I'm reading?
No, I really don't. So I think that's an electric generator, but by the way, double hit on the electric generator. Look at
Ching!
them just winning the lottery.
Yep. But also, I want you to take a look really quickly at this Miraidon list with the Iron Bundle in it. Do you notice any fighting type EX Pokemon in there?
Yeah. Cornerstone Mask Ogrepon EX, just in case.
Is that like a Charizard tech?
I don't know
There's no fighting energy. There's no rainbow energy.
Yeah, you stick it in the active against... Oh, wait a second. It's like a weird stall tactic, right? You get it out there ASAP, it sits in the active.
You know what it blocks attacks from? Blocks attacks from Miraidon, from Cornerstone or Saluna, or from Blood Moon or Saluna, from Raikou,
right?
From Pheasantipity,
right?
From Mew. Pretty much the entirety of the opponent's deck. So if they get in a scenario where they've only put down Pokemon with abilities, and they presumably don't have a canceling clone,
which a lot of decks don't run canceling clone nowadays. There's no reason to, right? Thorns isn't really as relevant. Well, or it's not as played. People don't like playing it as much anymore.
Yeah, that's Gigabrain?
I mean, look, it buys you time, right? You know, that whole make your opponent have to have a boss, that like makes it literal.
All right, look at this hand here. We've got a lot of options, a lot of energy, but no generators and no V-Star Stones.
You know, it's really funny because a lot of people call Lugia the gambling deck, right? How far you're going to get is based on how much you gamble. But I really feel like Miraidon is one of those too, right? Because if you don't hit your electric generators, right, you're not going to get anywhere.
A lot of thoughts going into this. I feel like we're going to see a Minior play. Because it's the only attacker you have, and you're so behind on prizes, you have to start attacking. But I don't think Minior could take the KO with just one single retreat cost on that Raikou.
Well, it looks like we're probably bossing up maybe the Miraidon. Or, yeah, I guess the Pheasantipides.
Doesn't it resist fighting? No, is it weak to fighting?
Weak to fighting. It's weak to fighting.
All right.
Yeah,
that makes that escape board play a little rough now that your escape board and Minior same turn.
I think it was because they probably weren't thinking that they'd have to play the Minior. But I guess it also helps just in case. I don't
40
know.
damage.
I don't like this at all.
Oh, I don't like this. Now the good news is that they put up a one prizer, so that'll help them stall. And the other good news is that the Iron Bundle cannot come out, so you need a boss.
Right. Oh my gosh, this is so rough. Right? Like, you know, you're kind of just sitting here as with a Minior in the active. You're like, look, I have all this stuff in hand, but no way to really like pop off.
Okay. We're seeing some thoughtful play here. There's I mean, you're already ahead, so whatever lines of play you have, they're probably not super aggressive. I would say maybe a knockout on the Squawkabilly could be super easy, but the field is so full you could get another Raikou. So whichever target of the boss there is, probably the Raikou with the Seal Stone. You're still getting two prizes.
I do like the split of the generator, even if they didn't have an energy in hand, right? Because one of the things that I try to tell people is that you don't want to make something too much of a good target on the bench, right? So if you generator and you put all of it on one, right, then it gets bossed up and it gets knocked out. That's energy off the bench. But like energy off the bench, we see Raikou taking that knockout on that Minior. It is not looking good for our point of view here.
I think they could come back from this because at 3 prizes remaining, that's at least 2 more KOs. So, Iron Hands, if that were on the board, could take 3 prizes off of the Squawkabilly, but that's not on the board. I don't think we'll see that next turn. You never know though.
Gosh, This is such a weird rendition of the list of Miraidon in general. I think it's so cool. I love the idea of, taking advantage of the stadium, but oh my gosh.
Whiff on the generator again.
At
This
a
is
certain point,
cursed.
you whiffed so many times, you're like, maybe I just don't play the game today, right?
I mean, there's 4 in the hand. There's a bunch in the discard. They did the generator before the Arven, so maybe there's some thinning you could have done. But whatever you get off the Arven is going to depend on what you get off the generator. So it's not a. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
There's this other idea that you Arven first, you count the amount of energy left in the deck, and you go, is it even worth attempting to generator without thinning even more?
Yeah. Here's the Arven. Arven for another generator, probably. I mean, you have to have another generator, and then there's
Sealstone for maybe another.
Hey,
generator
that's thinning.
For the stadium.
That's thinning.
There you go. 1 energy left in deck. That's why you always check. It's not. I don't even think it's worth grabbing the generator now. Right? You have to grab something else that can maybe put energy back into the list.
The sheer commitment. 1 out of 19 odds. I'm really rooting for it now.
Look, you know what? 1 out of 19, not bad at all.
Not at all. Not at all. Buy Luminion. Buy Sealstone.
I don't know how I feel about discarding the Sealstone.
I mean, they've already used the V-Star power.
Oh, that's true. That is true. They did.
Yeah. I think you have to get Mewtwo so you can expand your bench, so you can maybe pull a miracle out of your hat.
Right. Hope that you can draw into it naturally, right? I mean,
Although, to be fair, draw into it with what? Fleet-footed?
I guess.
This needs to be flawless.
Hey, there you go!
Oh,
you
did
did it!
We did it!
1 out of 19.
Oh,
we got there. Never say they didn't have it.
Never say they didn't have it. This is the start of something big.
I was a doubter. I did not.
I was a little hater.
Now, okay, Michaela, if you're sitting here and you're playing during this point of view, do you ever put the Mewtwo down early? Or do you simply say, it is not worth putting down the Mewtwo early to expand my bench?
I honestly Mewtwo early here. And the reason for that is you could get Iono'd at any time.
Right.
And it now means that they won't automatically just get 8 on their bench without giving you something in return. But there's also an argument that if you put down the Mewtwo, then you're required to put down Area 0. Right. And once you do that and you're required to do it, you've suddenly given your opponent this ability. So I can see it going both ways. I'm personally so paranoid of Iono that I would just do it.
Right.
I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that's what I would do.
And again, I think, hey, look, remember how we said that Miraidon's were prized? There's that Miraidon coming back.
Look who's back. Back again. Okay, Mew is in the active. Mew with its little free retreat cost is going to enable some generator plays, and I don't think there's going to be 1 out of 19 across the board.
No, I think
there's going to be a lot more.
Their opponent probably has a ton more energy ready to go. Unless, look, 7 out of 8 of those cards, 7 out of 11 of those cards could be energy, right? Who knows?
Now, the good news is that mini or play earlier was not completely irrelevant, because now Pheasantipity is at 200 instead of 210, which could be important for a Raikou KO. There's Mewtwo.
Let's see if the Area 0 comes down.
That's a generator. Watch them hit 2. Just simply
outskilled, right? Every time that I do that to my opponent and I hit my generator.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Oh.
I'm already loving
that is... Wow.
Now, I'm pretty sure the reason why Mewtwo comes down and Raikou is getting ready is because if I'm the opponent here, I'm saying, look, if Area 0 comes down and we expand benches, if you do that to me, I want to do it to you because I'm at 1 prize left.
This ball. Ursaluna is like the only attacker. It's going to be the bear.
I don't think there's anything else that could do it. Luminion probably grabbing Iono, maybe?
Iono or Judge? You need to shuffle that hand in. It's too scary. Is it in there?
Yeah, there's
Judge. All right, opinion here. Brave Charm on the bear.
Brave Charm
I
has to
guess
go
you
on the
have
bear.
to. Yeah.
I
I mean,
think.
there's a counter argument that you put it on something else,
Yeah,
but
maybe. Well, the squawk. So if they boss up squawk, it's just auto loss, right? Like, no matter what. So I think you have to put it on the bear because bear's sitting in the active.
yeah, I think you're right. I was gonna say maybe there's a scenario where if Iron Bundle comes back up because the bench is 8, and then there's a whole thing, and then now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, no, that's ridiculous. So we'd be moving on. Greninja away a double turbo. That doesn't feel good. There's a generator. Energy is back in the deck, by the way. There are now 2 electric energy in the deck, unless I can't count.
No, I'm pretty sure there are 2, but
They're not in the hand though.
yeah,
They're gonna stay in the
and
deck.
they weren't found with generators, so they essentially just don't exist.
Nope. There's the Dippity. Okay, there's no energy in the hand.
The worst
That's
part
the
about
worst.
this is that there's just nothing to do here, right? Like,
I mean, you could put the double turbo on the Iron Hands.
Yeah,
Maybe?
you have to, right? Because they're at 1 prize. It doesn't matter, right? You
You
have to
build,
set
you
up
build something.
a hands
Oh, you could
play.
put it on the Pheasantipity. You could put it on the Pheasantipity.
Oh, to get the 100 snipe?
I mean, you could. Does Pheasantipity hit the active? Because you could gust up the Mew, do 100 to the Mew, and with weakness. No, it would still be. You would still subtract by 20. It would only do
Right.
160.
Right.
I think.
I mean, that's for the YouTube chat to tell us.
Yeah, chat. What do you sound off? What do you think would happen?
Hey, there comes the area 0 coming down.
Easy generator hit. Always good. Chat has some incredible insight as to the trading card game. I am always humbled by their approach.
Look, here's the thing: when you are spinning your generators, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just. You ever see the meme of the person that says, you know, you when you quit gambling, and it's like the wall and right behind it is a whole bunch of diamonds.
Oh, I've seen that before.
Yeah, that's essentially Miraidon players when they run out of generators.
No, it's not. There's pure skill. Oh,
my
no.
gosh. Oh, and just
the
like that, Miraidon.
concession. No.
Yeah, Miraidon takes it
Rip.
over Miraidon today.
See, I said it's not gambling. That's pure skill.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Exactly.
wonderful.
100%. So with that, I believe that is it here for this current match. We are going to try to find another match, and if we don't already have it, we will get to one soon.
We have
Right?
some to pick from.
Do we have some to pick from?
Match
All right.
3 is in progress. Match 2 looks like they're either mid-game or done.
Okay, we will be back in a second as we jump down to another match. See you guys in a little bit.
All right.
Hello everybody and welcome back. Unlike what I promised, which was a little bit more gameplay, it looks like that all the matches that we had available to us to watch live have seemed to just kind of finish as we got in there. Yeah, it is what it is, but today we're going to be talking a little bit more about what matches we've kind of seen in Top Cut so far, who's playing what, and kind of what we're really excited for. So, Michaela, what are you thinking? What are you excited to see out of these lists that are here?
All right, show me that metagame. Okay. Of our top cut, we've got a very even spread of options. There are no more than 2 people on the same deck across the entire top 16. And there are 6 people playing decks that no one else is playing. So tons of variety to choose from. This is a time for my bias to show. I'm very sad that Palkia Terapagos is not here because that's what I've been testing, and I have to admit it's not good. So instead, I'm rooting for this Terapagos Pidgeot list. It's a 2 count, and that's what Mysterious Player was playing.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, here's the thing. I've been seeing a lot of these lists, like, I've tried my best with Palkia, and the more and more I try it, I just can't get it to work. I know that it's good to a certain extent, right? Like, I know that there's definitely some legs on it. And the whole Terapagos lists in general have legs, but I personally just can't make it get there. You know, I get a couple wins, get a couple W's, but the coolest thing I've seen that come out of that area 0 is realistically the Miraidon lists that we've been seeing with Raikou.
Yeah, those came out of nowhere. Miraidon was not on my radar at all for the rest of this format. Electric types were on my radar because I knew Iron Hands with the ability to search trainer cards more reliably could be devastating. So, for example, if you sit down from your opponent and they pull out Terapagos, Iron Hands, double generator, turn 2, move on, you need to reconsider your life choices. That's what I've been afraid of. But seeing Miraidon, the archetype, do that well has made me think, maybe I'm backwards on this. Maybe it's not hands. Maybe it's just electric types that are wrong, which is a stance I can have as a Palkia player.
How do you feel about the Fan Rotom overall?
Fan Rotom is so good. My goodness, I cannot talk enough about how good of a card Fan Rotom is for this format. Because let's work with me here for a moment.
Yeah, of course.
70 HP, Buddy Pop and searchable.
Okay.
Searches for anything 100 or less, grabs the Noctowl, grabs you 2 trainers. All you need is a Nest Ball or a Buddy Poffin to have a successful and playable game, as long as you're willing to fill your bench with tiny 1-prizers, which is a good thing. I think more cards should let you guarantee you can play the game turn 1. I think it's a lot like Squawkabilly, where if you get it down, bam, you're done. But instead of being a 2-prize liability, it's just a little baby 1-prizer with a decent attack that deals 70, as long as the stadium's in play. So what you have here is the recipe for a good, easily accessible trainer search card that doesn't look like a trainer search card, but secretly it is.
Right.
I just think that's good for the game overall. I think every deck could take advantage of it.
And honestly, I think I like this idea where we don't have everything revolving, you know, because like having Terra Pokemon is very specific and narrow. I was trying to make a point the other day where I was like, look at how many Pokemon are just coincidentally Terra, right? Because that's a take that you think is safe and awesome to say, and then you look at it and you're like, wait a second, there's only like 3 that are played? It's what, Dragapult, Charizard, and Terapagos? But Terapagos doesn't count because it wasn't really a thing.
And Ogerpon.
Right. So, like, all the key decks have a Terra Pokemon. But at the same time, you're just kind of like, I mean, everything else that is kind of played in the format doesn't really play Terra.
You know what really kind of struck me the other day? I was thinking about this too. I was like, there's not a ton of Terra Pokemon, but there's some like older ones that are now, I guess, it's now in your mind. And then I thought about it for a minute because the way the Terra mechanic has been handled, people did not like that when they came out. Right. Okay, people were sitting there going, it just blocks bench damage, that's it, there's nothing exciting, it just changes the types around, that's so boring. And then now, as of this new set, all of a sudden Terra is recontextualized.
Right.
Terra means you get this certain type of engine. Terra means you can now enable these weird damage strats. Terra means you can break the game in some unexpected way.
Right.
So I think that's changed what people thought of as a completely nothing burger of a mechanic into, this is amazing. And now I have to relook at like 3 years worth of cards to make sure nothing is broken by this. And by the way, 50 things are broken by this, but all at the same time. Fantastic.
Yeah,
good design space.
It's kind of insane, right? So I guarantee a lot of people are going to be like, oh, they heard the feedback. Pokemon heard us as a player's feedback. And I'll give you a little bit, right? I guarantee that they're listening to feedback and they're designing based on that. But let's try chase it down, trace it back a little bit, right? So we talk about, Terra Pokemon coming out when the games first came out. So then they had to map card game stuff to it, which came out maybe 2 sets later, 3 sets later from the base set. And then after that, I'm obviously like generalizing here, right? We're not going to get exacts here, but you go from there and then you get to a point where like they're like, okay, we have Terra Pokemon have this cool ability, but like in the games and in TCG you're just like kind of like, okay, cool, they're Terra Pokemon, why are they special? And Pokemon Company's like, hold on, we'll tell you eventually, right? And then we got Terapagos, and then we had to get a set that came off of that, which is like 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months down the line. So we finally got this payoff from all these Terra Pokemon being printed. So, it's big brain plays. We just had to get there first. Just have some faith, have some trust.
Yeah. And I mean, you could argue that they were going to do that the entire time. Like, they were going to wait to see how this multiple type thing was going to work out. Because you know how they sort of ramp up their mechanics as the seasons go on until they switch to a new generation. So you could argue that this is a super well thought out plan to start with something very approachable for new players who are just getting into the game, and then grow our expectations with it. So you could say this was always the plan, but you don't know that for sure.
So I hate to interrupt, but it looks like we have a top 8 pairing going on right now. We have Biju, who is on what looks to be Snorlax control against Miraidon that's happening right now. So we're going to try to catch that game live. Not like we could miss it because of how long the games will probably be, but we'll try to catch that live for you guys right now so we can get some gameplay going. So see you guys in a couple minutes, not even. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are looking from a control player's point of view, going into Game 1 of Top 8 of what looks to be Snorlax versus Miraidon. GGL, I'm going to let you take the lead here and talk about what you think about this matchup.
I'm going to take the lead and run with it. We're counter-catching into this game real quick, and this is not ideal for the Miraidon player, because you've got your Lumineon active. That's never a good sign. With Snorlax in the active and Lumineon trapped there, the entire game could pass very slowly. We're looking at not a whole lot else happening. Maybe a boss, maybe a knockout, but that'll just trigger counter catcher, and there's 2 of them in hand.
Right.
It's really, I guess what you want to do is get that Ogerpon out, but it's not an attacking Ogerpon. It's just a bench blocking Ogerpon.
Yeah,
we were talking about that in our last game.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't know if we actually analyzed it last game, but looking at the Miraidon list here, I'm not quite sure what they have to deal with control. I know that sometimes when you play into these lists and you play a lot of this stuff, sometimes you just say, you know what, sometimes I lose the control. That's just how it is. Like, you take the L, you try as hard as you can, but you just can't make it. But
When
I
you try
believe in our
your
Mariah.
best, but you don't succeed. Sorry, I'm being obnoxious.
No, you are a-okay.
That's
But
not
yeah.
true. Oh, okay. Looking at the list,
Yes.
is Mewtwo out? Mewtwo's not out, so there's no Area 0 underdepths. Unfortunate. I don't see a lot of options. There's the Night Stretcher, there's the Prime Catcher, and other than that, there's no way to get it out of the active.
I'm trying to think of. Like a lot of these places just play Turos, right? Like that's how they get out of this situation, right? You play Turo, you play. I mean, there's no dark types that really to Petra run out, but like I don't know. I don't really see a way for Control to really not dominate this matchup.
Oh, there's switch cards. I forgot. There's one Prime Catcher, 2 switch cards.
Okay, that's
so
still
if they
not
can
that
ever
bad.
put down enough things to knock out, great. But if they don't, there's nothing that can knock out Mimikyu. I mean, except Zapdos. And it's got energy on it, so I guess you could knock it out with Zapdos.
I don't know if PJ is watching right now, but he'd be so happy. He is the resident stall Snorlax control player of our group, and going up against Miraidon. Yeah, he is unfortunately a Snorlax player through and through.
You say unfortunately. Control is a legitimate strategy.
I come from Magic the Gathering. It is 100% a great strategy. So
people like to talk smack about it in the card, and I get why. It's not the most dynamic gameplay. It's very, very cerebral. But the cerebral gameplay you get out of a Control matchup is unmatched. Because instead of trading blows and having a quick 20 actions per turn game, you have a slow, methodical, drawn out wonk, wonk, wonk. And then by the time you get to the very end, your excitement is just through the roof.
I always like to say this, right? I like to say that Control, Install, and things of the sort are always good for a format to be good decks, but when they're the best deck in the format, then the format is terrible, right?
Yeah.
So I think everybody should, I think Stall gets a little bit too much hate, and I play a little bit into that, knowing that it gets so much hate. But as someone that has played Snorlax Stall on the ladder, I might feel like an evil person, but I think it's perfectly fine and viable as a strategy.
I forgot that the Cornerstone Ogerpon was Terra, so they could put down the underdepths and get a wider bench.
Maybe that's the secret reason why the Ogre Stone, or the Cornerstone Ogerpon was put in there, because it's a Terra Pokemon that can't be knocked out, right? So you put that.
You're so smart for that. That's gotta be it. I didn't even think about that.
Right. So like Mewtwo's really good because you get it early in matchups that you don't worry. You get Mewtwo in matchups where you don't worry about your Mewtwo getting one shot. Right? You think, okay, with Bravery Charm plus Mewtwo, you're in a position where like you're like, okay, I'm not gonna get KO'd by Charizard or anything huge like that. And then you play Cornerstone as a way to make sure that it's not going to get knocked out. You're not going to have any of this bad stuff happen to it. I think that's such a cool idea. But I'll have you know that as my Terra Pokemon choice, I'll choose Charizard every time. It's not a basic. I have no idea how I'm getting it into play, but sometimes I just like cool cards in my deck,
Probably with a rare candy, I would imagine.
It's true. It's true.
Okay, I'm using my brain real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the matchup plan here has got to be get the underdepths down, fill your bench with electric Pokemon, get rid of Lumineon, Greninja, and Cornerstone when you get rid of the underdepths for some reason. And all of a sudden now you have no more liabilities on the board. What do you think? Is that a strat?
I think that's a huge strat, right? So it's the same reason why you would play Collapse Stadium to knock out your own stuff, right? By playing Collapse Stadium, you're like, okay, I'm going to remove my Rotom off the board. Right? I'm going to remove anything that can give 2 prizes or anything that's a missing link. But, oh my gosh, look at the fan! The fan coming into play to move an energy off the attacker as well.
And they had to get that stadium down to get rid of the Pokemon League headquarters that would have made that attack more expensive.
Right. Gosh.
I mean, they could have still done it with 3 lightning energy down, but then the next turn they would have had to get rid of it.
Can I tell you that it kind of seems, it seems fitting that, you would play fan and League headquarters. in a list that, you know, in this format, right, where energy is so tight and you're not really moving, you're not able to really deal with energy being moved around because there's so much garbage on your bench. An Airy coming in too, oh my gosh, an all-star Airy hitting an Ultra Ball and a Nest Ball, which is kind of huge, right?
I mean, what are you getting? I mean, like, you could use Tandem Unit to get more Pokemon down, but you can't grab a Pheasantipity. You can't, well, not that you want one for control, but you can't grab any of your non-lightning types, like Mew.
Right.
People talk about this. Mew would be a fantastic card to have down right now.
Oh, yeah, just because of the free retreat and, you know, just being able to copy attacks, things like that.
Yep.
Mew is
Does it hit through Mimikyu?
It does not hit through Mimikyu.
Okay, that's
if
important.
there was an Ogre Stone, or Cornerstone Ogerpon. I don't know why I'm calling it Ogre Stone. Maybe that's what I just call it from now on. If there
Ogre Stone.
Yeah, if there was an Ogerpon out, right? If your opponent has an Ogerpon in hand, right? So you use the Mew to copy the Ogerpon's attack that pierces.
Yeah, you can do that.
Then you're making some, you know, then you're like cooking with fire. Man, and just like that, it's so hard for us to talk about control, right? Because when control does its thing, it's just kind of draw go. But look at our Miraidon player expertly kind of sneaking around all this stuff, saying, look, I'm going to just take my knockout. I have so many Pokemon on the bench that are ready to go. It really doesn't matter what you choose to do. And especially in this matchup, you don't want to play stuff like Accompanying Flute because you don't want to fill the bench.
Yeah. Ooh, there's Erica.
Okay.
Nope, no targets. Maybe it's more for the hand reveal there.
Right.
Generator, lightning, yeah.
Well, maybe, so here's the thing, right? If I'm the control player, the thing that I'm trying to get my opponent to drop out of their hand is probably something like Iron Hands, right? Because if I can stick an Iron Hands in the active, there's no way it's getting out without a switch card.
Yep.
What's your favorite? So as a fellow Snorlax enjoyer, what's your favorite matchup?
A Lax Maxer?
Yeah, as a Lax Maxer.
Continuing my trend of saying things that I should not be saying. Favorite matchup into Snorlax? I like when I'm playing a deck with Pecharunt and defeating my opponent's Snorlax.
Okay, so
that's fun. Not for Snorlax.
Right, but if you were the Snorlax player, what would you say is your favorite matchup as the Snorlax player?
I kind of like the Charizard matchup. I know it's different these days. Oh, and I haven't analyzed the Stellar Crown. Loved just trapping something in the active like a Manaphy and just. And they had no switch cards in the deck. That was fun.
Someone asked me a long time ago because I had made a video about playing Stall, and someone comments after the Pecharunt comes out, Pecharunt EX, and they go, "How do I beat Pecharunt EX?" And I'm just like, you kind of don't.
You don't.
Like, you do kind of what our current Stall player is playing right now, where you do the Mimikyu dance.
Mm-hmm.
And you just hope for the best.
That's right. I think Pecharunt is good for the format.
I think it's very good for the format.
Printing a rush in ability would not have been as good, but I mean, it would have been fine.
Right.
But Pecharunt is better. Limiting 100%. It in such a way that it discourages control players, but not completely perfect.
Are you okay? So
because rush in with like a single retreat cost would have made this unviable.
Yeah, I mean, like, it would be back to the days where, you know, we just had Zoroark all over the place, right? Zoroark switch in, switch out, right? Everything of the sort. Okay,
were you playing for Keldeo during the Keldeo times?
Not as competitively. I'm just trying to remember.
Okay. We're seeing we're seeing a knockout. This could be
this
super
is huge.
relevant.
I'm sorry. Going back to this, right? We do. Zapdos is really doing great work, right? Getting the knockouts on the Mimikyu, doing exactly what it's meant to do in the list: hit around Cornerstone Ogerpons and hitting through Mimikyus. Man, if you're So you have to put something else out, right? Like something has to go in here.
Yep.
But I don't know.
What do you trap back? I guess you trap the Greninja active.
Right.
Okay.
This is always so rough.
I mean, they're
as a control
really
player.
pushing for that hands. Yeah.
You gotta maybe. Gosh. Okay.
Is
So
hands
if there's
prized?
I think if you. I think you bench the corner.
Ooh.
Okay. Squawk ability's fine.
Okay.
So you play the corner. Actually, I think you play. It has to be cornerstone, right?
Yeah, it has to be because it's the only thing that's immune to every attacker that's on board.
And then you play mist energy and retreat.
I mean, do you? Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe you do the Pidgeot, and then that way it can take half of a hit and then shuffle in. But the thing is that if you get another hit, it's like not great. My gosh, it's.
And the other thing is by.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, the other thing is with the Erica. Now there's no more bench space to put down a Pokemon that doesn't have an ability to knock out Ogerpon. So this was actually the Giga Brain play.
PJ is asking in chat, do they play fighting energy here?
I didn't see any in the Miraidon list.
There is no fighting energy in the Miraidon list.
Is there any in Snorlax? Nope, just missed.
Yeah, but as I was trying to say earlier, I'd put the Pidgeot to soak, but it's weak to lightning, so it just does not... It's just not good to play here.
No. I mean, unless you need to somehow, like, fill your deck without using an Iono that turn.
Right.
Ooh, Generator goes bye-bye.
Generator's huge for them to play catch-up to retreat, and then after retreating, attack this turn.
But so many energy are already down.
Well, yeah, and any energy you want to have a dead draw, because you can't risk not getting a knockout. It's so rough. You can't risk like overdrawing and then drawing out and then losing because of it.
Okay, V-Star Stone. That deck is looking real thin. There's Prime Catcher.
Okay. Look, here comes
What's
the
that going to get you, though?
Here comes
because
the Zapdos getting ready for the damage drop there.
It's not enough for a KO, but it doesn't matter. There's no retreat options.
Maybe it doesn't need to be, right?
Oh, you could use Penny. Yep.
I think the Penny was there for the Cornerstone or Corner Mask as well.
Is there any counterplay? Every Pokemon has an ability. Literally every Pokemon has an ability.
Yeah. PJ brings up a really good point in chat. If there is no fighting energy, you might as well concede this game and move on to the next one. Because there's no way to get Pokemon off the bench that don't have an ability. Yeah, there you go. There's the concede.
Ah, rip. It's like I had Victini on my side. I didn't see any Victini.
Yeah, I was going to be like, wait a second, hold on. That seems a little bit like a, missell. Like you're trying to sell me that your deck is Victini when it's not Victini. All right, so very good point. If your opponent locks you, right, into the active with something, with a Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon, right, and all of your stuff has abilities, you just simply pass go. Maybe you play at a time, but like there's no reason to. You just move to game 2. Hope you could just be faster than the control deck.
Yeah, the only out there was to somehow get a Mew EX onto the bench and use its attack.
Right.
And I just don't see it happening.
Right. I know that talking about standings, and how I just said that how Iron Thorns wasn't that great right now. It wasn't really as popular in the meta. It is in top 8 currently. It's kind of insane.
True. I mean, that control list, a lot of people are talking about it in top circles. I mean, that just seems to be in a format where there's nothing really limiting abilities, and so people are just playing abilities left and right. I don't see any reason not to do it.
Well, so it's one of those things, right, where we have a rock, paper, scissors format or something of the sort, or, something like Unpunished, like Ogerpon and Iron Thorns and things of the sort. You need something that forces people to move off of the turbo abilities type of format, right? You need people to have to play to outs to that, or else that's just going to flourish. Speaking of flourishing, though, we did have 2 energy off of the electric generator onto the Miraidon, with a third one coming down. That's huge!
Whew.
Oh my gosh.
Sheesh.
There's the Sandshrew coming in too, just in case. But I mean, like,
You never know.
you just get Mimikyu at this point, right? I mean, looking at open deck lists, is there an attacker that gets through Cornerstone or Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon?
No, it's just the Mew. And I guess technically Iron Hands.
Yes,
but you don't want to put down Iron Hands.
Like, I mean, you only put down Iron Hands if you're attacking with Iron Hands, and there's a way to take 2 prizes off of it. But even then,
I think you only put down Iron Hands if you absolutely have to. Otherwise, you don't want to see it. You want it in your prizes. And you want to carry on.
Yeah, I think
that's me.
I wonder if our opponent I wonder if the Miraidon player realizes that they need to probably play the Mew and have the Mew as their attacker this game.
Mm-hmm.
My gosh, that's a lot of supporters to think about. I guess Arven is really good here for the setup.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Gets yourself
a Hero's Cape. Yeah, ooh, fan.
I think
although the temptation is airy.
Yeah, you got it airy here.
Oh,
that's all right.
No.
That's all right, though. It's bad cards to grab right here, right now. But
it's good knowledge.
Yeah, you know that there's not going to be a generator.
Or do they need one?
I don't know. I don't. Maybe. I mean, look, I say so because I think that they want the Zapdos to get, kind of all set. But look at that Prime Catcher coming up too.
That's early. I would have thought this would be a switch cart and then proceed.
Well, I think the idea is that they want to knock out the Rotom to stop the draw engine, but which I don't completely hate. Right, gets you 2 prizes.
Mm-hmm.
But like when 06 and like Aries and things like that exist, I don't know. I'm a little worried, but I think we'll survive.
Hisui and Heavy Ball.
Getting the
There's
second
that other
Rotom?
Oh, well, they're not taking
you
it.
Can't. You gotta take the Snorlax. You
can't
give them 2 more prizes.
I mean, yeah. I guess you can't.
Well, okay, but to be fair though, we've seen their hand. There's no boss's orders in hand, right? What's the odds that they're gonna somehow get a magical boss's orders here, right? So,
I mean, they have the Seal Stone down, so the Seal Stone could grab the boss.
I mean, yeah, but if they're using a Seal Stone on the boss, I'm sorry, that's a major amount of copium I was huffing right there.
Don't worry about it. And there is the fish. The fish is back. Very efficient of them. Looks like we're going to be seeing a slow, stally strategy.
But this is what we like to see. I'm telling you, if you're not playing against Snorlax and watching the Snorlax point of view, a lot of people think that the stall matchup is just, well, I just do something that's dumb and then et cetera, et cetera. A lot of people don't realize like the game actions and the precision you need to play stall. Because if you bench something that you're not supposed to, you like lose.
Yeah, and it's really easy to forget about those small interactions that are just not super mainstream on a card. Like, for example, the Cornerstone Mew. You may not have thought of that when you built the deck. And so you're waiting to see if your opponent will figure it out before you close them out of the game. So it's control is also all about knowing your opponent.
Right.
A lot more than a lot of other decks are.
Or at least predicting that what your opponent will do for certain situations, right? Like, the Miraidon not having any outs to the Cornerstone except the Mew. Right? So
yeah.
I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say the same applies when you're the control player, because when you're the control player, you know what you're gonna do, and they can predict what you're gonna do. But are they predicting what you're gonna do, or are you predicting what they're gonna do? And I'm getting in a loop.
Right. Well, immediately I already don't like this. I don't like what's going on here. I mean, I think that the Snorlax getting knocked out stinks, and this whole entire situation's really rough.
I don't know if I agree with dropping the Terra Mew there.
I don't agree with you either, but that's because I don't know if they know that the Mew is their way out of this situation. But look,
that's true.
Iono coming down? Iono's pretty good here.
Iono could do some work.
I guess they fill up the board right away because it shuts down Erika's, but that boss is coming out to grab the Mewtwo.
Mr. Mewtwo's back in action.
Yeah, you dropped the Cornerstone, right? because they only
I thought
have
you were gonna
so
say
many
you
switches.
drop this king with like a crown.
Oh yeah, but it's like the Terra. It's the Terra
Yeah.
gem on top.
The little hat.
Yeah. My gosh.
You drop this king. I love the Sandshrew.
It's so
It's
good.
so cute.
It's so good.
It's the kiwi.
Okay.
Fun card. Good art. Niche use. I'm all for it.
My
And
lord.
Zapdos is getting ready to rumble.
There's the
Tandem unit.
too.
Are we gonna see hands?
I'm like so. I understand that Miraidon has to be a little bit more aggressive here and has to try to take the knockouts quick, and can't let the control player get a lot of stuff. But I'm always so hesitant against something like Stall thinning out your deck, because there's like a certain pace that you gotta go. We've seen it multiple times against stuff like Regidrago, right? Where Regidrago ends up losing because they end up drawing out.
Rescue board. Rescue board is not going to do anything for you there.
Yeah, but the switch cart will.
I guess later.
My gosh.
Another fun underrated aspect is that by using the counter catcher, you've just charged up Photon Blaster again.
Yep.
Nice job breaking it, hero. Okay, here is the cornerstone. Do they have a strategy? Cornerstone did him in last time.
Well, there's the flute. I wonder if flute's actually gonna. Ooh, actually, you bring out both. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's go.
Devastating. There's only one bench space left. Erica?
Yeah,
Erica's
Erica? Yeah, if you Erica's and there's no Mew there, they end up losing that way.
Erica?
I think they're wondering if it's worth it, right?
Mm-hmm. You know, there's a Zubat that lets you, like, look at the hand for free.
Yeah, that's... Oh my gosh, that's...
Oh, no!
Let's go!
The career ender!
Oh, no, this game is actually over.
I don't think there's a way out. All the switch cards are burned.
The way out is that the control player benches a second Pokemon.
But why would you?
Exactly.
Simply don't.
Yeah, exactly. Right now you just sit here and you pass the turn every turn.
Flute is disgusting. Something's wrong with that.
There's another, and you yeah, you
can't put that down.
Yeah, you put the league headquarters down. Actually, you don't even need to do that. You don't do anything. You just sit.
Yeah, you just pass.
You play stuff like Silene because you want to fill your deck with extra cards, but you don't want to do anything.
Yep.
Game is yours.
Is there anything under the sun? Like, not even a creative Iono play? Like, late game? I don't think there's anything. What do you conceal the cards in for? Maybe there's a Giga Brain play. Is there play?
No, I don't. I really don't think there's a play.
I guess technically, if there were Psychic Energy, Mewtwo could attack.
Yeah, but we know that
not.
there's no Psychic.
Wait. Giga Brain moment.
Okay, what are you thinking? What are you thinking?
Does Cornerstone's ability work on the bench? I think it does.
You mean the fact that
you could use. You're looking at Mewtwo.
You're thinking about like.
I'm thinking about Cruel Arrow from Pheasantipity. Is that technically? I don't think it works because sometimes those abilities. Yeah, it doesn't work.
I'll have to take a look.
Well, it's an ability, and usually those don't say like in the active or things like that. It usually just says you can't be damaged.
Yeah, it's a damage from attacks, right? But if it put damage on it, it's different.
Unfortunately, it's an attack.
Yeah,
that does damage from an attack. That's unfortunate.
Hey, I thought I'd let you know that we see another Bouffalant control list in top.
Can we?
I don't know if it's up right now, but I will take a look.
Well, it's not down because it's in top cut.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the top as you could go.
It's true. Okay, guys, we are gonna go jump over back to casting as we try to figure out what is next for our matchups. So we will be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the next match in the top 8. It looks to be Terapagos Pidgeot versus what seems to be another control list. Let me double check. I have the brackets for a reason.
Is.
My gosh.
They've got 3 different Bouffalant, one that blocks the damage, one that puts energy to the Lost Zone, Rotom, Mawile, Ogerpon, Radiant Serena, Tatsugiri, Mimikyu, Chiyu, Wellspring Ogerpon, the water type, Pidgeot V, and a Blood Moon Ursaluna. So this is a control variant that takes damage. Or, excuse me, deals damage.
Right. And
kind of like the Wigglytuff one.
Yeah, I remember the Wigglytuff one. I bought all the stuff for it, and I built it, and then nothing ever happened.
I opened most of the pieces for it from packs. I didn't feel inclined to play it.
Well, it looks like that the Bouffalants are coming back into really play, right? Bouffallant getting rid of what would be that double turbo would be almost like a game ender for our Terapagos list.
There's so few energy.
4.
They all count.
So if I am Mysterious Player right now, my goal is to essentially just try to take as many knockouts real quick and, make sure that every single energy attachment only comes down when you're ready for the knockout.
There's a little bit of debate on playing that Rotom too.
I just realized something. Am I crazy? Does the Bouffalont with the fluffy whatever ability? My gosh.
Is it two-sided?
No, I'm thinking that the one that gives the damage reduction, does it care about something having a Bouffalont as the ability? No, it just cares about a Bouffalont being in play, so you don't have to have 2 curly walls.
Yep, you can have just one curly wall, and you can curly wall them out.
Oh my gosh, it's almost like Bouffalont control is going to be, well, I won't say it's going to be the next big thing, but it's definitely a crazy thing that we've seen it in late night twice. Now, if you're a Mysterious Player, right, you have access to these Noctowls, you have access to the Pidgeot search.
But what is that going to do for you? What do you need to search for?
Well, it's really concerning because the fact that they can just remove all of your energy, so you have to make sure anytime you get a knockout, it's like 2 prizes right away.
Only searching for one Hoot off the Buddy Poffin. That's interesting.
Well, not knowing what my opponent has, right? Oh, actually, never mind. They might have a solution here.
Okay.
Prime
Catcher.
Down. Probably to get the knockout on the Rotom V.
Oh, yeah.
This deck is so cool. I love the Terapagos Pidgeot.
It's funny. I mean, you get everything you want in your hand, but what is there to get in your hand?
Yeah, it's like
Rotom?
It's like when you're in an ocean and you need water real bad, but all of it's seawater.
Ooh, that's rough. 190, that's just enough?
Yeah,
bam.
That's all you need.
Well, they say love is all you need, but I think all you need is a double turbo energy and a Terapagos EX.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, hold on. We also need a filled bench.
Well, there's just space for more.
Okay, that's true.
In the stadium. You need the stadium.
Terapagos has a lot to give.
Terapagos is loving that KO, I have to say.
That's true.
Although, this being control, anytime you take prizes in control, you have to be worried. Am I going to get counter-catchered? And the answer is usually yes.
But, I mean, All right, we're going to have Mawile in the active, probably ensnaring, trapping, and locking down.
Yep, we're going to probably see counter-catchered and trap with Mawile. Iono's good.
But there is the Pidgeot. And we do have Sharon's Care as well.
Well, the fun thing about Sharon's Care is that you need to have damage on you before you can use it. Oh, you do?
Right.
So it's useless.
I'm thinking it's like Turos, but it is not.
Nope. But it is useful if you get hit with the Bouffalont attack.
Right.
So, not totally useless, just don't expect it to save you.
I do like that Cornerstone does get hit through with Terapagos, but Terapagos.
Not enough to KO with that Brave Charm on it, but close. 2-hit KO is better than a 0-hit KO.
Right.
Is it boss? Boss for
Rotom,
I wager?
Get the Rotom? Oh my gosh, that's such a good idea.
That's a double. Ooh.
I don't think. Oh, so like here's the thing, right?
Sting a Bouffalant.
You play Bouffalant now, or you just don't, or you let Erica's or something else choose what's on the bench, right?
Oh, you're right.
So it's one of those like I have to do this.
Yeah, that's rough. There's the Noctowl.
The Pidgeot Noctowl thing might be the thing that really gets this going.
Could this be the strat? There's Penny. Ooh, no Cornerstone. Oh, and I forgot that means that both sides get the Underdepths with Cornerstone in play.
That is true.
Ooh, that's clever. Yet another use for Professor Turo. That card has so many different sneaky uses that you kind of forget about. Right. It's great.
The only problem that I see here is the fact that we can't get the knockout here because the opponent's not playing anything that really helps.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing why the Bouffalant's getting grabbed. Maybe because they just don't want to draw it.
Mm-hmm.
The only other thing I could think of is that you you can't knock out for a counter catcher. You can't really knock out for much else. Again, this
looks like the hold.
What do you think? What do you think is the correct play here? I think Mysterious Player will choose the correct play either way because they have topped so many times in the late night tournaments. They are
incredibly skilled.
Yeah, fantastic. Last time I watched them play, they were on Gardevoir for a long time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I can believe it. I've never seen Mysterious Player play a deck that I don't like.
Does that mean that you've just admitted that you love Gardevoir?
No one heard that.
Okay.
That statement has not been said.
Okay.
I never said that.
Right. It was implied.
No. This is misinformation. You're spreading misinformation.
So I have a question, right? Why does the Radiant Sarina come down, heal, and then... Maybe it's because... Who knows? Who knows the real reason of why anything's happening here?
Yeah, I mean... I don't know if I like putting down the Radiant Sarina at all, because now there's two easy prizes that are not protected by the colorless ability. Then again...
Not just that, but now having... Yeah, there you go. There's the boss's orders, and there's also a penny in hand, or penny in deck, just in case. Yeah, this list might have too much search to stop the player, or Mysterious Player, from getting locked down by control.
Yep. Featherball. We haven't seen that around.
Yeah, Featherball gets you the Pidgeot, I'm pretty sure.
Fantastic card. Just underplayed in general.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
It could grab you a Mew. It could grab you I can't grab you more Pico technically, but could grab you a lot of different pivots.
Yeah, I'm very kind of interested what happens here. 30 damage and then gets rid of the energy. And they're just like, okay, I hope you don't have the energy in hand, right?
Getting rid of that energy is a huge problem, though, because you need every one of those 4 double turbos to do a 2-hit KO.
So I think the idea is that now you check to see how many double turbos you have left in deck. You have 2, right? So
2 in deck, 1 in hand, so that's 3.
Right, so I think you grab the Pal Pad here, and you try to shuffle in, boss's orders.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe boss's orders Iono. Yeah, double boss's orders is the way to go.
Although, one has a cape, one has a charm. I mean, those are going to take 2-hit KOs no matter what.
Right. But I think the idea is that you want to set up for the next attack, right? So it doesn't matter what happens the first time. It's the second time. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. Right? So you want to be able to pull that Bouffalant back out if there is no penny. Looks like 2 pennies have been used. This deck is probably playing 3 pennies, right? If I were to take a wild guess... Yep, they are playing 3 pennies, and I didn't even look at the list until just now.
I think there's also a sequencing question of which one do you knock out first. Do you knock out the one with energy, or do you knock out the one without? Because whichever one you knock out, that means the other one either does or does not need additional attachments.
Well, I wouldn't worry too much about it because they were only at 1 prize card left, but...
Oh, you're right. 1 prize card, that'll do it. I thought it was 2.
Honestly,
yeah, 1 prize card makes that way easier.
Mysterious Player has been so streamlined with all this on how this game's been, right? I really think that it was just a matter of time, and like this was the first control game that we saw that didn't just immediately get, you know, really
Ogerpon.
like, yeah, exactly. Didn't get Ogerpon, didn't get just pushed over. So I'm going to pull up the standings just in case. It looks like we're getting ready for the next matchup. So our next matchup, we have both sides to look at. We either have Terapagos Pidgeot or we have Snorlax Stall to look at. Do you have a preference of which angle we look at it from? I kind of
Well, we've looked at both.
Yeah.
Chat, sound off if you have a preference.
Yeah. I'm going to influence chat, right? I'm going to tell them that I really think that I want to watch the mysterious players, you know, point of view. Because it's not an underdog, but it sometimes feels like an underdog.
It's a new deck.
I think we highlight the Pidgeot list, but that is just me being selfish.
Okay.
Chad, if
across
you have
the table on the other side, there's not to interrupt you.
Yeah,
there's an Iron Thorns that has clawed its way all the way into top 4. Are we discussing that?
I
don't think we would stream that, but beautiful work.
I think they might be playing it in a second, but you know we need to get their opponent coming up as well, which I believe
then let's have a look.
Playing right now.
Yeah, let's have a look at the bird, and then we'll come back.
Yeah, of course.
All right, beautiful.
Let's see if I'm taking a look at other stuff as well, but you know, man, this list is so cool. So if you're playing against this deck, what do you think are the things that really beat this list?
Terapagos?
Yeah, the Terapagos Pidgeot list. You have to punish stuff that sets up, right?
Yep.
So you have to worry about Bouffalant making that they take 60 less damage from attacks, right? So I guess the answer is getting up off the ground with Pidgeot and maybe not Pidgeot, I'm sorry, getting up off the ground with Dragapult. I think the raw Dragapult list is something that really will, you know, play well into this, right? Because you get that...
I think Charizard clocks.
You think Charizard clocks?
Yeah, Charizard comes through, does 330. You can only do 220 back. I'd make a Charizard.
Well, remember, it doesn't do 330, though, because it'll be 60 less damage from attacks, right? And then...
Although, Dusknoir.
Oh, Dusknoir. Yep.
Dusknoir, Briar. I think Zard will have it.
Man, I hate that they just keep releasing good cards for Charizard. It's like Charizard is a very good deck or something. It's insane.
The ability to search 2 energy just for evolving was a mistake.
Yeah.
Not for Charizard fans, but for everybody else.
Yeah.
Charizard could never be a mistake. He's my sweet son.
I understand completely. But how do you feel about the fan Rotom start? I actually really like it because you go. Part of me thinks you go Buddy Poffin, getting Hoot Hoots, right? Oh, I guess we fan call first, right? See what's in the list.
Fan call for the Hoot Hoots. Some bird. Grab maybe a Noctowl. Because they go to your hand.
Well, yeah. What I meant is that you probably Buddy Poffin the... Oh, well, it is against control, right? So you don't want to lock anything in the active that can't finish the game.
That's tricky.
So,
you're going to put out the bird no matter what.
Yeah. The thing that I really like is that this deck is really good into, like, the Cornerstone Ogerpons and the Snorlaxes and everything, because you have so much search, you have so much just everything going on. You can... Because you only play 4 DTEs... You know, you kind of can lock yourself out energy-wise, but you simply just don't attach energy until you're ready to attack.
Yep, and there's nothing to grab special energy out of the hand now, so you're completely free and clear to do that. And who's running Enhanced Hammer in the year 2024?
It's crazy, right? You'd think that...
The hammers have gone backwards.
Well, yeah, Enhanced Hammer was the thing that everybody was running all the time.
Yeah.
This
is actually... Ooh... I was going to say this is a danger zone for Mimikyu, but then I thought about it. It's a double turbo. It's dealing -20. So, Rotom cannot take a one-hit KO on the Mimikyu, but it can damage the Mimikyu. So Mimikyu is not a good wall into this deck. What do you wall with? Noivern? What's not even in here?
Yeah, I think... Oh, hold on 1 second. Looks like that your volume seemed to have peaked, and let me fix the other volume as well. Sorry, folks. Try GGL, give me a quick 1, 2, 3 real quick.
1, 2, 3 real quick. 1, 2, 3 real quick.
Okay.
1, 2, 3 real slow.
Okay, I think that fixed it. My apologies.
All right, thanks chat for flagging it up. We needed to know. You made us aware.
And just like that, the Hero's Cape comes down onto the Mimikyu, being that wall for the Fan Rotom, right?
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Rotoms, the other Rotom is back in business. Oh, there's Terapagos.
Just as you think that it's going to be over, you know, you keep getting dragged right back in.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole lot.
I kind of agree where you just simply attack here, right? If you can attack, you might as well.
Yeah, those energy are going to get destroyed by the first Bouffalant that comes out, so you might as well make the most of them. I don't know if I agree with attaching if you're not going to attack with it, but...
I actually don't think that they're playing the Bouffalant in this list at all. The Snorlax stall is just playing...
What?
Yeah, this is Snorlax stall that we're going into, unfortunately, so... It's that Snorlax list from earlier.
Chat, is this reality?
I don't know how to tell you this, but it might actually be real.
Chat, have I been living the same 10 seasons of the anime at the same time again? In my dreams?
Look, either way, I think that as long as the Pidgeot gets out, right, it'll be okay. But I think
the Pidgeot is in the hand and there's no rare candy.
Yeah, we gotta make sure that we get a rare candy if I'm a mysterious player one way or another, right? So that either comes from trying to take a prize. You can't even nest ball. That's the real rough thing here. Even if you wouldn't nest ball to get something out, maybe you nest ball to do a quick prize check to see what's there.
Then the hand. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Okay, Noctowl.
I mean, there you go. There's your rare candy right there.
Yeah. Okay. We solved... I mean, you only get one good Noctowl out before... I mean, you could Noctowl for candy under depths and then get more Noctowls, but... You really gotta think. It really makes you think. I think we're gonna see the... Oh, there's a Hoot in the active.
Right.
Do you think it matters which one you choose to evolve? This is a niche question, but do you think it matters?
No, not really. You probably evolve the bench. Just
I guess you could get some use out of the Silent Wing, maybe? But
I
for
don't
0
even
damage
know.
hand reveal, it's not really worth it.
Yeah. Chat, for clarification, we were talking about a list that we were watching in the previous match, which was a Bouffalant control list that attacked to remove. This current list is also playing Bouffalant. Mysterious Player is playing Bouffalant as well. Bouffalant just seems to be a very popular card right now with multiple iterations of it in play. So it can get a little bit confusing, my apologies. Good news about Buddy Poffin, because the Pidgey and the Hoot are in hand, right? Yeah, you could just simply play them. It stinks that you can't use the item to grab them, and you can't thin a little bit, but, you know, I'm always in favor of not thinning against control.
Rotom has rotated out of the active spot, and it's now in the discard because Snorlax is here. I'm a big fan of that. A big handheld fan of that.
I do really like the fan. The fan is so good in the DTE matchups.
Absolutely.
Because you're just like, hey, look, you know what? What if this Pokemon can never attack ever again?
Right? Now, you could cure that by putting down a second Terapagos, and so you just have them switch between each other. But how are you going to retreat? With what Prime Catcher? You already used it.
I mean, I guess the answer is that you just never retreat, right? Never surrender.
Ooh, the scoop. Oh, that's terrible.
I don't know.
Ooh.
I kind of missed that. I'm going back to the VOD for 2 seconds. I want to see why we got the...
There was no way to retreat the Noctowl.
Oh, okay. Because there was no other... No other
DTE.
That's all right though. That's just a checkmate situation, right?
Yep. A checkmate situation.
Man, I'm really thinking about, because there's no damage on stuff, so you can't Sharon's Care.
Mm-hmm.
My gosh.
So it's like, do you even keep the Churns at that point? Do you like switch it for Churro just for control? And the answer to that's probably no.
No, because I think you just say, hey, look, I'm gonna try my best into control and hope that they don't checkmate me, and you can't be good against every deck in the format.
Yep.
You know, you go.
But
okay,
control just seems to be ambling to the top tables lately, you know?
Yeah. Like you were telling me earlier that you think a lot of top players are on the control game plan.
I don't think a majority are, but I think a lot of them are talking about it and noticing that it has some strengths that it may not have had before.
My gosh. Do you want to go first or second in this matchup against control? I think you want to go second, right? Because you don't want them to have access to supporter turn 1.
Yeah, that'd be good. I think the other thing too is, and this is just in general with Terapagos, the limitations is you can't attack going second.
Right.
You could just go first, and then it's not a problem. So why wouldn't you want to go first?
Yeah, especially because you're getting this stuff to your hand anyway.
Which is the opposite of what you said, but...
No, but I'm saying against control specifically, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's... I don't know. Chat is asking where is this on the match setup? This is top 4. This is semi-finals.
This is game 3 of top 4, no less. We've got it 1-1. 2 different options here. Briar in the discard immediately, Countercatcher discarded immediately. Those cards will do nothing this matchup. Here's the Terapagos. Rotom Fan didn't get any stuff out.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested, right? Like...
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I think there's just this idea of deck checking first, seeing what you have.
Yeah.
And then going from there. I wonder if these lists are going to start playing, like, you know, Minior or something.
I mean, does Minior really get you out of it?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Like, it's real rough.
I mean, Minior didn't even beat Snorlax when, like, Snorlax was the one control variant. New tools these days.
PJ has asked, what is a pirate's favorite move in chess? The checkmatey.
PJ has asked us if we know how chess works. The answer is surprising. Corner frontal, you checkmatey. That is a good joke, though. I like it.
That is a pretty good joke.
I was expecting something like castle, but somehow like related to boats. Like
or I thought it was like the retreat or something like that. You know what I mean? Like
the rook.
The rook.
Instant charge from the Rotom. It is Rotom's year. It is the year of the Rotom.
Look, I think anything that just lets you draw a bunch of cards for free is absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
And honestly, you know, your draw cards always being Iono is probably perfect here. The only thing that's not as perfect is just not being able to get out of this situation.
It's a really rough Iono, but they did get another Iono in it, so... Okay, Misfortune Sisters.
Yep.
Girl bossing. Candy's gone.
I need to see how much the... I need to see how many rare candies they run, right? Because...
At least 2.
They do run 2 rare candies.
Okay, it'll be okay. That'd be so scary if that was both rare candy. You'd just be like,
yeah, you're just like, I think you scoop at that point. Maybe you don't scoop, but you
don't scoop, but you scoop.
Yeah, you're just done.
It's a small scoop, like a little melon baller of ice cream.
Right, of course.
Tastes delicious. Not on your win record.
Unfortunately.
Game 3 of top 4 is no. Oh, wait. I saw the yellow button. Did they click it?
What, they're thinking about conceding?
I mean, the menu got opened. And I'm like, it's too early. It's game 3. There's no way.
I don't know. Part of me is like, look, you know, when you know you're done, you're done. I'm going through the VOD right now to see if we saw the yellow button being... Yeah, the yellow button was hovered for a second.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad we didn't commit to that play. I want to see this play out. The bird is back in town. The search will not be quick. It will take a long time. Oh, I was wrong. It was a quick search.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, right, So here's the one thing I really dislike. I dislike the Radiant Serena coming down.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, there's not a choice, right? You got to thin out. You got to do all this other stuff. You're hoping to hit a...
You got to fill up that bench.
Yeah, you got to hit
looks
the
like they
area
will,
zero
and that's
somehow.
called double buddy popping.
My gosh.
I don't know if I agree with putting down the Bidoof.
I think the
Wouldn't you rather
Bidoof
put
is
out the Rotom?
okay. Right? I think the Bidoof is okay because there are times where you might get Iono'd or Aerated down to, like, no cards in hand.
No, I mean, like, for the Snorlax targets.
Oh, for the Snorlax targets. Yeah, you're... I think it's, like,
I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, maybe this is one of those situations that you just have to be aggressive and hope for the best.
And considering this is a deck that only runs 4 double turbo, a 1 retreat and a 2 retreat is... Oh!
There you go. Yeah, because he can't beat the fan. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, that stinks. Unfortunately, we absolutely love the deck that Mysterious Player is playing today, but it is not in the cards. Folks, we will be right back as we figure out the next match for you guys to watch. So we'll see you in a couple minutes. Be right back.
All right.
Everybody, welcome back. We are taking a step back in time as we are casting one of the quarterfinal games that is currently waiting to be finished. It is Raging Bolt Ogerpon versus Gardevoir. Looks like our Raging Bolt player is up a game. We are currently on game 2. Okay, Michaela, how do you feel about this matchup? Do you think Raging Bolt is really the superior deck here? Do you think Gardevoir has no shot? What do you think?
I really want to step back to just appreciate the pun that we've stepped back in time with the ancient deck.
Thank you.
I think that's creative. Good work. As for these decks, I'm a little bit surprised that Raging Bolt won game 1. It is a deck notoriously full of 2 prizers that do something very basic, which is they just sort of hit every turn. And that's, good enough to win a whole lot of games. I don't know if it's good enough to win a game versus Gardevoir, where your opponent is pulling out 1 prizers, constantly shuffling you with Iono, always has some sort of sneaky tricks up their sleeve, confusion with Monkey Dory. I'm shocked that they've not won game 1. However, in terms of the vibes, both of these decks are so good in the Stellar Crown format. Ogerbolt has just sort of won the lottery. Don't know how, but Ogerbolt went from a deck that was like pretty good and threatening, but had some limitations too. Now you can have 8 things on the bench and just draw 10 cards for fun. Well, which is exactly what it needed to get good.
I think the other thing is too is that a lot of people don't realize that a lot of these decks that happen to like take advantage of Area Zero might have come about because someone took advantage of their opponent's one accidentally and then they just kind of ran with it. They were like, well, I think this is pretty good. Why don't I just play it?
Yep.
Honestly, I think whoever came up with the Miraidon idea to play Raikou V in that matchup was just sitting at home and they were like, huh, this seems really good for my list. Let me just build all around that. But
we have Terapagos at home. Terapagos at home.
Definitely. My gosh.
I'm an immediate knockout. That's the other good thing about Raging Bolt. You go fast. That turn 1, if you're not taking a KO, you're like behind. Like you should be moving at like rocket speeds, and it does. It shouldn't, and it does, and it's astounding every time I see it. I'm just like, this deck has 3 energy types. It's not supposed to be this good, and then all of a sudden it's in the top cut.
So are you telling me, McKellar, that they're running at raging speed? That they're bolting across the finish line?
Oh yeah, they're bolting across. And speaking of bolting across, they bolted across the finish line of the recent Champions League, so that's cool.
Honestly,
for those of you who don't know,
yeah, go right
Japan runs their regionals a little bit differently. They're maybe not equivalent to regionals, but they're called Champions Leagues, and they're open events that anyone could go to if you can win the lottery to get in. And at the Champions League most recently, some 3,000 people in attendance, Raging Bolt Ogerpon was the top scoring deck. And they have a slightly different best of 1 format, but I think they still play best of 3 top cut. Could be wrong though.
And honestly, I really like the play that's coming out here. Klefki sitting in the active, locking down Teal Mask Ogerpons, but also doing the evolution. So this might be why game 1 was so slow, right? You stick a Klefki in the active, and you're just trying to build up your plan, while your opponent's just trying to figure out to do anything to get out of this.
Sada?
Right?
No. Oh, that's not a good hand to have. Burst Roar.
Yeah, you just Burst Roar. Even with Sada, I don't even think Sada's good enough. I think you have to hope for any of
Sada
your
would have taken the KO there, but
no,
every turn you don't get a KO is not good. You want the KO every turn, especially versus the one prizers.
Right. Or else
Raging Bolt's weakness is one prizers. Yeah. I just talked over you again. Do you want to?
No, you're okay. You're okay.
Why don't you take revenge, man?
Because I didn't draw my Sada.
Right, I got it. I'll wait till you draw better cards.
I think right now we're gonna probably see an attachment coming from our Raging Bolt player, right? And now if you're our Raging Bolt player, right, do you just try to turbo as much as you can, get out the Gardevoir EX and knock that out? Or are you, like every other person that I know, focused on knocking out those Curlias as soon as possible?
I'm a Curlia believer, but honestly, I don't expect to see a boss in hand. Raging Bolt doesn't play a ton of boss, so unless there's one off the gear, it's probably going to be a knockout on the Klefki. Now, people play Iron Bundle, and I think that's correct, because you can... Well, I mean, you couldn't use the Iron Bundle through the Klefki, but through other stuff you could.
Right. Right, and the idea is that, you always want to knock out something that has relevance in the format, right? So a good example is, this Drift Bloom. This Drift Bloom is, relevant, but also at the same time, I don't know, are we gonna have enough damage counters on here to get a knockout?
Ooh.
That's 40, right? So for people that don't know, the Drifloom deals damage based on the number of damage counters on it, and that Brave Charm bring up that HP. So that is 80 times
perfect
3, right? 30 times 8, which is 240, which is the instant knockout. My gosh. Drifloom is one of my favorite cards in the Gardevoir list. I am 100% a Gardevoir believer too. I will say that.
I'm more used to people seeing Screamtail immediately.
Yep.
Because you can put 80 damage down and get 160 to the bench. But because both Ogerpons are Terra, it's not going to do anything.
100%. And honestly, there's been people who are even cutting out the Screamtail just to keep the Drifloom because of the rise of Terra Pokemon. But here comes the Pheasantipity to draw.
That script is getting flipped. Well, there's a Sada. You just need an ancient Pokemon now.
Shouldn't be that hard, right? All you have to do is just naturally draw it off the top. Just like this. Oh, all right. Well, I thought I could call it, but...
I mean, you can attack with the Ogerpon right now with the energy retrieval and a manual attach, which is nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's a more efficient attack than whatever our Bolt was doing. But you want to keep the Bolt around for a 2-prize KO on the Gardevoir as well.
Yeah. Oh, there's the Night Stretcher getting the Bolt back. Let's go.
Bolt could be big. Bolt could be big.
We get Bolt, leave it on the bench, but Sada's to start ramping.
Yep, that's correct. That's correct.
But you don't attach to the Raging Bolt, right? You want to get so you get the manual attach from the Teal Dance. We hope to hit another Raging Bolt so that you can Sada's onto both Raging Bolts. Because the thing about Raging Bolt as a deck is that it... Oh, you're going to Iono here?
Whoa.
I don't know if I agree with this, but I'm not the expert. There is a reason why it is not me up there. And it is these
I guess they were
players up
threatened
there.
by the big hand. Ooh, Greninja. You like to see that?
Okay, so Vessel comes out. We probably go.
Just gotta discard the shoes. Just gotta discard the shoes.
Yeah, there's nothing good to. Or no,
If you
the
play it.
wings, the Slitherwing.
Isn't that a good attacker?
It's not good into. It's not as
it's
great of an
psychically.
attacker. It requires 2 fighting.
Well, I mean, it is at least one prizer.
That's true.
Weakness regardless. Regardless of weakness, excuse me. Alright, there's the knockout. Drifloon drift done. 4-4. The Bolt player is actually a little bit behind, statistically. We're gonna need to
But-
see a KO on that Gardevoir or else.
I'm still not worried if I'm the Raging Bolt player, right? Like,
No, that's true. The bench is now set up. I don't like that hand having no Sadas in it, and the Bolt right there. I mean, that's scary.
chat is commenting on our coordinated repulsion at the Iono play. That's because I think both of us were like, it's you either risk it for the biscuit or you don't, but here comes the other Iono coming out. Right?
I think a lot of our joint, well, there's 2 Sadas again, so that's cool. I think a lot of our joint revulsion at the lack of the Iono play there was that if you play Raging Bolt Ogerpon and you want that Sada in your hand, you don't have it, you feel so bad and you remember it the next time you play. So when we're looking at this board state, both of us are going, oh, there's no Sada down? Like, what if you need to attack with that one? Like, the mental game has come back around us. That's what I'm saying.
And I don't think it's here's the thing. I don't think Iono was a bad thing if you're worried about what your opponent has in hand.
Correct.
Honestly, Iono is such a great card because of the fact that it plays draw and control at the same time. And, you lock stuff to the bottom of the deck that normally should not be there.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like we're...
Ooh.
I don't... Okay, so for everybody at home, what's happening is that all that energy... they're just shortcutting here. They're putting energy onto the Curlia so that the Curlia can retreat into the Screamtail to try to take a knockout. Probably either... Let's see.
I'd say the Pheasantipity, but
Yeah, it is.
I
It
don't
is
think it's
most
KO.
definitely the Pheasantipity.
it's not KO. Oh, you know what? It's setting up for next turn, a 4 prize turn.
Yes.
Took me a minute.
If they don't already get the knockout on...
No, they don't have the knockout here because it's 160. So they have just enough remaining for Monkey Dory to finish the gig.
Right, and Monkey Dory being such a great card in Gardevoir, just because you can move around the damage counters and get these, pristine knockouts, you're always going to have damage counters on your guys to move around because of how Gardevoir EX works. But, just in the nick of time, like we said before, here comes the Raging Bolt ready to play, going, hey, Raging Bolt, Sadas, let's attach to both, manually attached from hand, if you draw the energy, if not, that Earthen Vessel's there ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Although all the energy are out of the deck, I do believe. Unless some of them got shuffled in for that last Iono.
You know what? I'll tell you that
Catcher?
I don't exactly
Catcher?
remember.
I think you gotta go... Nope, never mind.
Oh, no. There's
would your catcher
there's
target
the
have been?
Prime Catcher, but I think you... Yeah, you get rid of the shoes. I don't know.
Okay, they got shuffled in off the Iono. That's correct then.
Right. So you'll have 1 energy left in deck,
Where's the
right?
lightning?
You hope you draw into the lightning naturally? There,
Oh,
hey,
wow.
you know what?
You look at
Sometimes
that.
you just have it. Never didn't have it, except for that Pokemon catcher play.
This is what the kids call goaded with the sauce.
True. And then here comes that Prime Catcher coming up. Look, if they don't have another Gardevoir EX in hand, they're in trouble. But also, I mean, look at all that damage racked up on the Screamtail just ready to go.
Yep, that should be enough to get the Pheasantipity knockout. Where do you get your second knockout from is the problem.
Well, you don't even need to... I think you don't even move the damage off of there. You move the damage off the Curlia, right? Because the Curlia has 30 damage on it. So you leave the damage on Screamtail, so that Screamtail can put another big attack on something.
160.
Right.
Well, what is 160 going to knock out?
I don't think it's going to knock out anything. I think the idea is that you just set something up and be ready to go. But you
You're right.
cannot afford to play a Gardevoir unless you're getting a knockout.
This hand state. This is game 2, keep in mind.
Yeah, this is always just a very stressful game overall. But I love this type of matchup, right? Because it could go anyone's way. It's not just straightforward.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Curly Retreat. Screamtail.
Cross our fingers here.
Another Ralts. Arvin. Heavy Ball. That's interesting. I guess you're thinning your deck. I mean, you already did both refinements.
Well, I guess the idea is that...
Oh, you're checking your prizes so that you know what you could get off of the Adrenabrain 2 prizes.
Right, so that if it's worth it... Well, I mean, I guess it's so that you don't dig any further. And you don't discard something you don't need.
Deck 1. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to put it on the active here. And then you just set up a knockout. So if I'm... oh my gosh, there's no good way to go about this. But if I'm the Raging Bolt player, my goal is to get that Raging Bolt out of the active. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And knock out the Monkey Dory.
Mm-hmm.
But if you knock out the Monkey Dory, you have to knock out the Screamtail, no matter what.
I mean, I guess you don't have to Sada, but you need some way to retreat.
Right. You can't have everything in the active. Gosh.
Ooh.
You're thinning the deck to make sure that you can Sadas and just not draw anything that you don't need.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, the Pokestop is so risky here, though.
Oh.
Okay.
It pays off. It pays off.
Maybe we're there. I mean, problem is that there's no 2-prizer, right? So you have to knock out the Screamtail and hope that your opponent doesn't have it. And this is where, like, you hope for, like, an Iono, right? If you had an Iono, and then you, like, force your opponent to, like, really churn and try to have it.
What do you think about shoes and shoes retrieval concealed cards before the Sada?
Yeah, I think you do everything you can to see if you can get an Iono. I still think that's the correct play.
Ooh,
you don't grab the boss's orders here.
No.
Again, I think it's Iono or bust. You have to play this like you're playing to your outs. So retrieval, I think you poke gear to see what's left in your...
Ooh, you're right. Because you'll just get it off the gear.
I mean, I don't know what else they're going for. Maybe there's a card that I'm not seeing, which is completely fine. There's another Pokestop.
I mean, if you're concerned about your deck size, you already are about to play Iono if it's still in there, so...
Switch cart, which is good.
Cart?
Actually,
good.
switch cart's good. Switch cart allows us to do something like switch cart Pokecatcher, knock out the Monkey Dory.
Mm-hmm. No, you still get knocked out at 130. You still get knocked out by 160.
Yes. Yep.
You had a Bravery Charm.
Yeah. So now you have to see if you have it. I mean, I don't know what else you could be going for.
This is rough. Mm.
Oh Lord.
Now you can't Sada.
No, you absolutely cannot.
Chat, what is that? Why are you not promoting the Ogre Pond? I went to him.
Well, there's no Iono left in deck. I think you just lose.
We'll see.
Well, okay. You don't just
rough,
lose.
though. Yeah.
But if you misplay here for any reason, right? You're kind of stuck. Also, you're in a very awkward position now because you dug so deep, you cannot get attachments through your Ogre Pond. There's the Pal Pad. Okay. The Iono Dream is real. Or, you just Pal Pad 2 things in and you Sada.
There's Guardy. That's not looking good.
Yeah, there's the counter catcher.
Oh, was there an argument not to... No, you had to knock it out.
Yep, no matter what.
Oh, that's rough.
If you didn't knock it out, the same thing happens, but it happens with maybe like a boss's orders instead.
Yeah. I mean, you could maybe gust up the Klefki, and so then they can't Monkey Dory. I don't think that's good.
I don't think it's good either, because then you can't manually attach it. And just like that, I think that's 1-1 currently.
Wow.
In quarterfinals game of Late Night. My gosh.
Let's take a look at our chat. Okay.
Folks, if you
Game 3.
Yeah.
I feel like...
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say I feel like we should each take sides and be little haters.
Okay. I'm a Raging Bolt hater. I'm a Gardevoir believer. I'm forcing you
I'm
on
a
the
Bolt
Raging
believer.
I'm
So let's throw it
forcing
down,
you on
man.
the Raging Bolt. Although I will
Let's
say
go
this.
Raging Bolt! Woo! We love Raging Bolt!
I love sodding to one of my Raging Bolts because the other one's not on the board.
Me when I play Sada. I could draw 3 cards. Your Refinement only draws 2 cards. Check it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, before we get into the haterade that we will be having, talking about this, I do want to bring up the fact, folks, if you are new to the channel and you've never watched a late night events before, or maybe you've watched a late night events, feel free to drop a sub or like the stream or things of the sort. Any interaction that you give to the channel helps the Shuffle Squad as they produce more content every week. So, you know, if you like seeing a bunch of different content from your favorite streamers, from Pokemon Pro players themselves, you know, drop a like, sub, follow, things of the sort, and we will get into Game 3 here on the late night event.
I'm so excited to see Raging Bolt win. Raging Bolt is just guaranteed to win the game. I like how there's no response because you acknowledge the superiority of Raging Bolt, and that
I just thought that your comment was so absurd it threw me. Your comment was so absurd it threw me through a loop. Okay.
No. You needed a moment to understand and analyze the depth of your
I'm
mistakes.
just saying. All I'm saying is, would you rather have your representation Pokemon be, you know, an elegant-looking Pokemon wearing a dress or a noodle neck?
Noodle.
Just saying.
I'm sorry, man. Actually, I'm not sorry. Why would I apologize? Raging Bolt forever. Look at Ogerpon. She's so cute. Everyone hates on her. She's just living her best life, and you're not respecting that.
You know who does respect it though?
Who?
Hydrapple.
Hydrapple does respect that.
Hydrapple.
Did you play the DLC?
I did not. You
didn't play the DLC?
It's on my list. I literally have my Switch here ready to go.
See, this is why you rooted for Gardevoir, because you didn't play the DLC.
Do I have a problem with giraffes? I do not.
Wait.
Yeah.
You have a problem with giraffes?
I do not have a problem with giraffes.
Oh, okay. I misheard. I was ready to believe that you had some sort of secret lifelong beef with giraffes. Like, their long necks cause you to, I don't know, miss an appointment at the doctor's office. Or because a giraffe was in the road, you had to take the detour and all of a sudden you weren't able to get to the grocery store before they sold out of your your favorite candy. Like,
yeah.
Some sort of detailed giraffe beef. You're telling me you don't?
I do not.
Man, I have giraffe beef now.
I'm sorry that you've... Oh my gosh. Okay, side note, real quick, because we do want to talk a little bit about the matchup here. With Raging Bolt startup...
Raging Bolt winning.
Well, yeah. So for people that don't know, let's introduce the decks a little bit more. For people who don't know Raging Bolt and, you know, the whole concept of it, the idea of Raging Bolt is Raging Bolt attacks and discards energy off the board based on, you know, or to deal 70 times the amount that's there, right? So the idea is that you want to ramp as much energy as possible with Teal Mask Ogerpon, and then, you know, attack with Raging Bolt. So you use stuff like Teal Mask Ogerpon, you use stuff like Professor Sada's to attach to your ancient Pokemon, and the goal is to get as much energy out as possible, as quick as possible, which kind of its opponent does as well. Gardevoir is all about getting that energy into the discard and using Gardevoir EX's ability to attach energy from the discard to your psychic Pokemon. But the downside with that is, for every energy attached, you put damage counters on it. But there's a lot of really good stuff going for Gardevoir as well, with Kirlia, which allows you to discard a card to draw a card, which reminds you, you know, very much of a certain dragon-based Pokemon, you know, that has a very strong stage 1 into a really good stage 2. So.
Oh, I know we're not talking about...
We're not talking about Dragonite. So.
Wayless. We're talking about Dragapult, baby!
Yeah, Dragapult EX is... Right, and with that, by the way, there's a really cool... Gardevoir is one of these... The selling point for Gardevoir is all the really cool psychic Pokemon you get to play that are normally not played because they interact with the damage counters, or they interact with having a bunch of energy attached. So things like Drifloom and Screamtail have this synergy that deal damage based on the number of damage counters on them. It's all really cool stuff that just happens to work really well with the deck. But now that we've kind of given like a general idea of what each deck does, Michaela, do you want to go over kind of what we are looking to do as the Raging Bolt player now to get out of the situation that they're currently in?
I sure do. Taking a look at the game, step number one is what's your prize map? How do you take 6 prizes faster than your opponent can? And that's the core of the game if you're not playing control. Raging Bolt takes prizes very quickly, but it's only going to get 1 at a time versus Gardevoir until they put down the big Gardevoir EX. So what you need to do is you need to be attacking as soon as possible and as efficiently as possible. So these first early turns, you definitely want to get rid of those Raltsas. Every single Ralts you've eliminated is a good day for you as the Raging Bolt player. And that's what's happening here. We're going to see a Bellowing Thunder, single energy discarded to 70. It's perfect math. That will carry you on to the next couple turns where they have one less option for a Refinement or a big Gardevoir. Every Ralts you can get out is a good day. And also getting the Clefki to be active is important, so you can use Teal Dance. So win, 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 win.
And also, I'm just saying that we pivoted because I wanted chat to stop saying that I was a giraffe hater. Just saying.
Did chat call you a giraffe hater because I ironically called you a giraffe hater?
Yes.
I'm
yes.
the one who hates giraffes. I don't hate giraffes. I'm lying.
Okay.
I'm capping. I don't hate giraffes. But I apologize. I didn't realize I was going to sick chat on you. I didn't know I had this kind of power.
Well, yeah, look, you know what? No one person should have all that power.
That's true. And chat is also not a monolith. Chat doesn't have to listen to me.
That's true.
But when I accuse you of being a giraffe hater, and I just didn't realize that would bring out all the giraffe fans. Should have thought. I should have used my words more carefully and judiciously. Like how this Raging Bolt's attaching energy.
Well, and let's be real honest, right? Some of the biggest strength of everything that's going on right here of the Gardevoir deck is Gardevoir is very versatile in what it can do, right? Doing stuff like taking advantage of technical machine evolution to get yourself out a Gardevoir EX right away, to get out Curlias and things of the sort. I'm also kind of against... So this is very smart from the Gardevoir player, right? Going Klefki and then evolving to Curlia and not evolving to Curlia and then Gardevoir EX. Because if you put Gardevoir EX out too early, it can get knocked out right away by Raging Bolt. That's just what Raging Bolt does. Raging Bolt hits hard and Raging Bolt hits fast. So if you want to play your Gardevoir EX when you're ready to attach and attack and get a knockout.
If you're familiar with Gardevoir from the E block, they used to have Rare Candy in the deck, and now they don't. So this is what they've had to sink to. Mm-hmm. The lowest of lows. While Raging Bolt is already set up.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you over not being able to activate your Teal Dance ability.
Oh, I don't need that anymore. I've Teal Danced enough Teal Dances. It's a Teal timeout.
I totally get it.
Bellowing Thunder. Klefki is no more. Would have liked to have that be a Curlia, but...
Look, this is the biggest mistake that players always make when they're playing against Gardevoir. Not taking the advantage to knock out a Curlia ASAP, because Curlia gives you so much card advantage, lets you see so many cards, and it is just a quick enabler for the Gardevoir EX. There we go, discarding the Screamtail. I really am not happy with how their discards have gone, right? Their discards have been Screamtail, their discards have been Drifloom, and some of this other stuff. It's real rough because those are some of your best attackers in the Raging Bolt. Ones that you attack.
You do have Night Stretcher, I think, so that'll be good.
Right, and a lot of these Gardevoir lists do play stuff like Super Rod and things of the sort, but it's just a feels bad, man. It's such a feels bad. Looking at
that's kind of the classic Gardevoir experience.
I'm looking at it right now, right? It looks like that they are playing one Night Stretcher, two Super Rods. Okay. And they are playing one Turos, so I'm very interested to see how this goes forward.
Arven. Okay. Anytime I see an Arven get put down, I get a little nervous, like on instinct, like, oh, it's gonna be something like game changing, and then like it's just a Devo TM.
Right.
What are you gonna do with a Devo TM to a deck that doesn't devolve? But at the same time, like I guess I just have like post Arven nonsense going on here. Like, enough times Arven has gotten like the game winning generator that I'm I'm looking over my shoulder for him. I find him suspicious. You know, he doesn't tell you about the Mabostiff until like 4 gyms into the game.
Mm-hmm.
He's like keeping a secret from you the whole game. Then you find out it's just that he has a cute dog.
Yeah, that's true.
He didn't need to keep that secret. He could have told me about that day one.
I know. I mean, but like, here's the thing, right? A lot of people are judgmental about how much how much people love their dogs.
Who would be such a hater?
There's a lot of haters in the Pokemon universe.
I can't believe it. Well, I'm gonna go back to hating on Gardevoir then.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thing to hate on.
Well, then you'll hate about this search that they find right now off the Ultra Ball. The Ultra Ball's probably looking to see what's left in their deck. We haven't seen a Gardevoir EX come out yet, which means that there's probably not enough energy in the discard to justify it coming out. But who knows? Maybe we get it right now.
It's in hand.
Okay.
I think you needed to use the confusion attack on Monkey Dory. And by the way, that confusion attack is so good. I was at a League Cup and I just got hit over and over and over again with Mind Bend for confusion because it took so many energy, to retreat. And I was just like, this is ludicrous. And you heal off all the damage. You just keep confusing them, and the game ends, and you're just like, nothing happened. I'm confused. How did I lose? And it's because you just kept getting Monkey Dory.
Well, and that's the thing, right? You never really see like the Monkey Dory attacks come out, but when they do, they hit pretty hard. But the cool thing about this is that even though the Drift Bloom is getting damage onto it, we get that Monkey Dory attachment that they can move the energy from the Monkey Dory onto something else, which kind of softens up and lets us get bigger attacks. See the counter catcher coming in, knocking out the Teal Mask Overpalm with the Drift Bloom. Let's go.
Ooh.
Oh, 1 damage. Okay.
Don't worry, Monkey Dory.
We could get there. We get there.
This
is one of the hardest parts
about of a 3-step plan.
Yeah, this is one of the hardest parts about playing against Monkey Dory and playing against Gardevoir as a whole. Gardevoir is a deck that has so many different moving parts. There's no good thing to knock out minus the Gardevoir EX, right? And Gardevoir EX itself, as it is hard to knock out. But
I like taking the knockout on the Monkey Dory sometimes, just so they have to attach it again.
Right.
But maybe that's...
Well, because they have to get the Monkey Dory back. They have to get a Dark Energy back, so they have to use their attachment for turn. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But, like we just said before, right here comes the Gardevoir EX. Off the Pokemon catcher. Yeah. Although part of me is wondering why... I know Prime Catcher is a very valuable resource, but why not use the Prime Catcher there instead? Because then you can
because you need to switch.
Well, yeah, you need the switch super bad.
I guess the idea is if you get a Sada, then you don't have to Prime Catcher because you could just manually retreat and you'll be fine. Same time though.
I'm a little so-so.
Yeah.
Okay, we got the trekking shoes coming in.
We don't need another bolt, do we?
No, I don't think so. I think if you get to the point, look, you were at the point that if both of your Raging Bolts get knocked out, you've lost the game.
Yep.
And I like that we get to this critical mass in Pokemon. You don't get to this in many other games. But when you hit critical mass in Pokemon, you're like, look, I don't need redundancy here because if something interferes with my plan, I've lost anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And here we get this Raging Bolt to the active, getting that huge knockout on the Gardevoir EX. The one thing I said that you should probably get a knockout on.
Yep, this is big. I mean, not having that Gardevoir means you have to get another way to pull it out of the discard, but...
Who knows? They may have it in hand. They might have another one in hand and ready to go. But
yeah,
it does shut down a Curlia, though. That's the problem.
A lot of thinking here. 350. Ouch.
Yeah,
perfect math.
It's always super rough, right? But, here's the thing, though. You have to get 3 knockouts in a row as the Gardevoir player to actively win this game. Now, you're a little bit okay because you're the Monkey Dory, so you get the knockout here. So you have to be able to not... I know this sounds really weird, but I don't think you play a Gardevoir this turn. I think you promote the Drift Bloom, right? The Drift Bloom. And, oh no, you can't even do that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, okay. I don't even have the time to call. I mean, let's say you didn't play the Gardevoir down. What do you attack? Ooh, attack with Monkey Dory. Wait a minute.
So what you do is you shuffle in with Super Rod here, right? Shuffling your attackers and everything else here. Yup, Iono's coming down. Huge.
Ooh, that's a big Iono.
Um,
They got a Sada. They got a Sada.
well, so now you have to get a knockout here, right? So, like, the only thing I can think of is that you get Klefki back onto the board, right? So you Monkey Dory now. I don't know what's in their hand, right? So I can't really make the play-by-play. But, okay, second Monkey Dory. Actually, that might be huge. That might be... Oh, and the Gardevoir. This is so sick.
Okay, so you can still tag.
So you're going to move the damage... So the funny thing is that I think you move the damage... You put maybe 2 Psychic on the Monkey Dory? I don't know.
That's rough. Because then I think you move the damage off of... you can't move it off Drifloon unless you do it twice.
Right, so you need to move the damage off Monkey Dory onto the Teal Mask to get the knockout. But also at the same time, I don't think that they want to do this. It's so rough. Because the thing is that if you don't do it, you don't take advantage, you don't go forward. Oh, God. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, so they move the damage off of the Curlia. They move the damage... Okay, so I really do not like this play. Let me explain. I don't like this play because if you move energy onto things onto your bench, you can get energy locked on your bench.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, Gardevoir or Curlia has 2 retreats, so both of those will get off at the minute you retreat. But you already did it to get the Drifloon in play. So what's the plan? And this isn't a 1-hit KO either. I mean, you're gonna need to.
So you Monkey Dory damage onto the active, and then that's only 210. So maybe there was an Iono used, so there needs to be a counter catcher from the... There needs to be a counter catcher from our Gardevoir player to get the knockout onto the Teal Mask Ogerpon, and then kind of go from there.
Screamtail? No, never mind. You said Teal Mask. I was gonna be like, oh, you could Screamtail 2-hit KO. No, you can't.
Let's see. I don't know though. There's so many different ways to go here. It just all depends on what's in hand.
Mm-hmm. No Bravery Charm.
Yeah. So the idea is that as long as there's no Sadas has to be used here, right?
And that means no boss, which is good.
Yep. Maybe Pheasantipity into boss. Pheasantipity into boss is. Michaela, would you like to say the phrase?
No, I can't say that phrase. It's
all right, I will say it then. Guys, it looks like that script has been flipped.
No! That phrase is illegal.
Because Pheasantipity is a bird, would it be illegal?
It would not be a sick eagle.
All right.
That's a good joke, though. That's a good joke.
You feel free to take that one. But Pokemon Catcher coming out. Look.
Okay. Heads, tails.
Let's go. Gardevoir is the better deck. Let's go. That's just all that it means.
No, you can't be spreading this misinformation.
I mean, I totally can because the fact that, Gardevoir hasn't flipped any tails.
Gardevoir hasn't flipped anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't even flip the script. Okay, Night Stretcher. I don't think...
What does Night Stretcher get you here, right?
It gives you a Grass Energy and a Teal Dance.
Yeah, I guess, but you've already used...
Wait.
All right, so
no,
what's
it
the
gets
line?
you a... Okay, you need to use a Switch card. You need a Fighting Energy. There were no Fighting Energy card. Oh, wait a minute.
By the way,
is there Fighting Energy?
Chat has said that was foul. Okay, they're going for another Pokemon catcher. Let's be real honest. Or have they used Prime yet? I don't even know if they've used...
Concealed.
Yep. Let's see. Have they used...
Ooh.
Okay. 1 energy left in deck. Do they have a Prime catcher?
Prime catcher.
They have Prime catcher, but that's like their only out.
I think they have to switch card.
I think so too.
Which is why that Fighting Energy is so clutch. Do we have any other options? Palpad to boss? Gear for the boss?
Try to get yourself set up for next turn.
Why are you putting the Sada back in? Why aren't you going for a
Mm,
boss?
I think it's
Oh wait,
because
because you already used Stada. Never mind. I'm hallucinating.
yeah, because there's also
Not you.
because yeah. So you discard one here. You discard the
Okay.
grass, and you're hoping for energy retrieval next turn.
Yeah, that was really elegant.
So,
Okay.
uh, the way that you win here is you go. Oh my gosh. Okay, I got to think of how you even win here.
I mean, would a
Scream tail.
Screamtail with a Brave Charm knock out Pheasantipity?
Yeah, so you do that, and then you remove.
Yeah.
So you put damage counters on Monkey Dory, and then.
Yep.
Hmm.
I don't. I don't even know if there's the resources for this play.
It's such a crazy situation. I don't know. Look, again, we don't have. If we had view into what was in everybody's hands, it'd be a little bit different, but we don't. So we just kind of have to roll with it, right? So you discard the Curlia, draw some cards.
Refinement.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh gosh, maybe you
I
even.
know I'm supposed to be a hater, but I'm kind of rooting for the Gardevoir player now.
Well, because it's like one of those situations that if they do it,
Yeah.
it's a really cool play. Okay,
Yeah.
so the Gardevoir is going up live.
Ooh.
Psychic Embrace onto the Gardevoir because they're going to probably move damage.
They have to attack with that Gardevoir now because they've just retreated. Unless there's a Turo play. Turo would
be huge here, right? So
Turo wouldn't do it because you have one prize left.
Mm.
So you'd okay, that was actually really good.
Yeah, that was a very, very good Pokestop, right? So they shuffle in whatever Pokemon that they need. Okay, Artisan.
Okay,
Yo, wait a
Artisan.
second. Hold on.
Counter catcher?
Oh my gosh. Okay. You move the 60 damage off of.
Sure, but then you still need to knock out the one on the bench. That's where the 60 has to go.
Yeah, but Pheasantipity's weak to Psychic.
Pheasantipity's weak to Psychic?
I'm pretty sure it's weak to Psychic.
What? Ooh.
Right? Am I crazy? Unless it's weak to Fighting. I might be wrong. Hold on, I might be wrong.
I think it's weak to Fighting. There's a Screamtail.
Man, you'd think that I would know something like weaknesses off the top of my head. Give me 1 second. I can't find Pheasantipity online, so
Turo?
I'm going to a box. Turo? Okay.
That's what? Triple Monkey Dory?
Yeah, let's go. Where's the... Do they have the manual attachment?
What?
This game is unironically crazy.
What?
Stamp?
Triple Monkey Dory.
Yeah, as I...
Triple Monkey Dory!
Oh my gosh.
What?
That's so good.
I'm sorry. A triple
Fez
is
weak to fighting. But yeah, no, this is so sick. This is so good.
I'm...
can you even be mad at this situation?
No, I think Gardevoir has earned whatever this is.
Yeah, this was such a cool play. This was such a good Gardevoir play. Can you even be mad? Can you even be mad?
I can't.
That's so good.
They pulled off a Miracle Force.
Guys, with that, we got a win from the Gardevoir player. Michaela, would you like to talk about how the deck that you actually backed to me? Because I got a whole bunch of messages from you saying I really hope Gardevoir wins. I'm not actually a Raging Bolt lover. Do you want to talk about how you were right the whole entire time?
You didn't have to tell the truth, man.
Guys,
you didn't have to tell the truth.
Guys, we'll be right back as we get the next game up. See you guys in a second. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Late Night EU 207, also known as the roller coaster of emotions that we just had in our last match.
That was exquisite.
I can't believe
I was
that our
impressed.
Gardevoir player was that good. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Michaela.
No, I mean, you said it all. We left it all on the table. That Gardevoir player with a triple Monkey Dory play to close the game out in a move that I didn't see coming. I don't know if you did, but I didn't see it coming.
I did not see it coming.
Beautiful work.
I will not even say that I
Masterful
saw
gambit.
it coming. But we are in one of the weirdest matchups, or hardest matchups, I think, for Gardevoir. It will be Iron Thorns versus Gardevoir. I don't know how this matchup goes. It's not something that I've really thought about that often. How about you? Do you think that when we get into this Iron Thorns versus Gardevoir, who do you think comes out ahead?
Well, I don't know if the match really goes. I think the matchup more stops. With
Right.
Iron Thorns' ability jamming every single ability except for future Pokemon. The only way for Gardevoir to get its ability online is to leave a Fluttermane or a Klefki in the active. And that's not always doable.
Sorry, 1 second. I'm responding to chat. Chat is asking, is this finals? I did type in chat, this is
No.
semifinals, but
This is
hear me
semifinals.
out, right? Like, if we get the Guardy player has been like super awesome and on top of things tonight. You know, I'm hoping that like we get this really cool matchup between Iron Thorns and Gardevoir. And then from there, no matter what, it's going to be an intense finals. It's either Gardevoir into Snorlax control, or it's Iron Thorns into Snorlax control, which is kind of weird because they're playing like fans in the Snorlax list plus some other stuff, but I don't know. I think that I don't know how they get out or get around Mimikyu. Maybe canceling Colognes are in the list. I'll have to take a look. But we'll pull up this
that's
list
true.
as we're looking right now. Michaela, as I
I
go
can't wait
into
to see
the
what Iron
list.
Thorns is doing.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I got it open too. We're both looking. Ooh, this looks a lot like the world's list.
Honestly, I
Not a lot of
really
big
like
changes.
the Giovanni's charisma.
Giovanni's Riz.
Yeah,
Giovanni's Riz.
Giovanni's
That's one of the few
Riz.
secret arts I got out of that set. It was great.
If
Giovanni's
Techie loses,
charisma
we riot.
attaches an energy from your hand to your active and removes one from your opponent's active. Very versatile effect. It's crushing hammer at home. We'd love to see it.
I love chat going after Triple Monkey. I'm convinced the Guardy can do anything.
Yeah,
I
it's converted the haters. This was all a psyop to simply boost Gardevoir in your minds.
look. I mean,
Techie
I'm
loses, we
Gardevoir
riot.
stocks hashtag manipulating the meta. Okay, either way.
Hashtag manipulation.
Oh my gosh, this is so rad. I am very interested to see how this matchup goes because I have actually never even considered this matchup.
Sound check. Did you just say this matchup is Brat, as in B-R-A-T?
No,
Brat
rad,
Summer?
R-A-D.
Oh.
I'm
As in
sorry,
Radiant
rad is like
Charizard?
my rad is in my lexicon of words that I use a lot as a child of the 90s.
Well, Brat is in my lexicon, and it's Brat Autumn now, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Arvin for a Techno Radar and a Turbo Energize. Good combo. Love to see it.
I'm
So many of
surprised
these
we-
cards just synergize. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm surprised we don't see much more turbo energizes in general. I think the card is very good, especially in
It's great
lists.
turn one.
Well, yeah, even turn 2. But I guess the idea is that Iron Thorns doesn't care if Turbo Energize doesn't come out right away, right?
Mhm.
Like, because since you're blocking a lot of the format, if you get a Turbo Energize on turn 2, or your turn 2, I think it's okay, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so we see the Turbo Energy, or Energize coming down. Arvin coming out from the Screamtail player, getting the de-evolution probably out of hand because they want to discard it. Yeah, de-evolution is a card that is not really seen much in the format. It's very good into Charizard. It's very good into some of these other lists that are rare candy lists. I don't know if you remember the days when people used to de-evolve things because people were only evolving via rare candy.
Oh yeah, that was a fun time.
Okay, with that, Curlia comes in, discarding 2 Psychic Energies in a row. Basically, everything you want out of the Gardevoir list. Both decks seem to be playing exactly the way that they want to play. Klefki coming down too. I'm sorry, I forgot that Klefki was a thing.
Yep. How is it using refinement? Did I miss
Refinement.
a
So
play?
Iron Thorn's ability only hits Pokemon with roll boxes. So
No, wait, really?
Yeah.
I have to reread this card. Hold on a minute.
I reread it before we started. I did my homework today.
It is a rule box. Ooh, that's embarrassing.
Well, honestly, it's not that big of a deal, especially because I was calling Cornerstone Mask Ogre Pond Corner Mask Stone Ogre Pond for like half the night tonight. So
I think Ogre Stone is actually not the worst.
Yeah,
thing.
that is definitely a concede moment because Klefki's there, right?
Ooh.
You're basically at the point where if you don't have anything to deal with it, you're kind of just SOL.
Ooh.
It's not what we wanted to see. You
Ooh.
needed to. So the problem was that the Iron Thorns needed another way to attack, like right away, right? So
that's true.
So hammers are useless in the Ogre Pond, in the Gardevoir matchup. Basically, most of this stuff is a lot of the control elements are useless because of how strong Gardevoir EX is. So you have to get to a point where you kind of like lock your opponent in, right? So you make sure there is no Klefki, there is no other stuff, like there's no like whatever. You kind of get where I'm going with this. The idea is that you want to knock all the energy off the board with Iron Thorns being there to stop the Gardevoir EX.
What I'm hearing is you're saying we should use Klefki to lock in.
Yeah,
need to lock in with Klefki, the key Pokemon.
He conceded because Bug could not boss Guardy.
Speaking of bugs, the friend system is still not patched, so they're taking a little minute to fix that. We may need to log on, log off. Hopefully that should be pretty quick.
That explains why. I can't believe, man. I think live is cool. I think a lot of the stuff that they're doing with live is good. But man, it is very disappointing to see when a bug happens and you cannot. Yeah, I see it right now. So the bug coming in, they try to pull in Guardy. And they could not do it.
You know what I can't believe?
What's that?
I can't believe that it's not butter.
I was about to make that same joke, but
thank you.
I decided to keep my mouth shut on that part. Man, that's so disappointing.
Yeah. Man, you have a marginally better, as in marginally better sense of humor than I do. Margarine.
All they needed was to just split the 2 lightning from Energize. Oh, okay. I mean, so again, as we kind of try to get this up and running. So for chat, we are still in the semifinals right now. We are in Thorns versus Guardy in semifinals, and the winner of this will be playing Snorlax Control for finals. This is game 2 currently, so hold on as we continue to do this all up. Man, I feel so bad. You know how many times I've seen people lose in late night due to a bug on Live's end?
Oh,
it happens way more, and it's always so disappointing because you think
we'll ever go back to webcam games?
We would need I would be cool with webcam games, but the thing is that you would need to develop kind of like an infrastructure where people could do it. So Magic the Gathering kind of has something like this. They have Spell Table, which is a website that's used not to give free advertisement, but for people to play Commander games, they play over Spell Table, which is a website hosted by Magic the Gathering. And essentially they have people's webcams feed into that, have a database of each of the cards, so you click and it recognizes cards, things of the sort.
Wow. That's impressive.
Look, people got really bored over COVID.
It's true.
So.
Well, Pokemon TCG Live is living rent-free in my head right now, so that's where I'm at mentally.
Are you telling me that right now you have another client pulled open that you're currently playing while we're casting this?
No. I'm not saying that.
Oh, okay. I was about
to say.
Although
now that you've suggested it.
Yeah, you're like,
maybe
hold on.
I play top 4, I won't get any bugs. How about that?
That's true. Folks, if you are ever interested in playing in a late night, you can go straight to limitless.com or limitlesstcg.com and search the late night tournaments, which are on every Wednesday. There's an EU one that goes on that starts at about noon Eastern, and then we have an NA one that starts later on in the night.
It starts at 7 p.m. and it's been 7 p.m. Eastern, and it's been about 23 minutes since they started. You may still be able to sneak in through late registration. Not 100% sure on that. Give it a look.
If not, there's always next
late
week.
Night is always accessible no matter where you are, unless you live in the one time zone that doesn't have a late night event. My apologies.
Yeah, and on top of that, sometimes, if you're on a phone, it can be really rough to play. But unlike being rough to play right now,
okay, Iron Thorns.
Iron Thorns is ready to start without that many mulligans, right?
Yeah, and hopefully without the boss's orders bug again. Here we are.
So, okay. So we have the Iron Thorns starting out with Iron Thorns. Monkey Dory starting in the active 2. Iron Thorns going second. No cards dropped from the Guardy player.
Ooh. Not ideal.
Techno Radar coming out probably to thin the deck.
Yeah, but what do you discard? I mean, maybe...
You discard Hammer.
A Lotto? Oh, you discard the Hammer? Oh. I mean, the Hammer could still be relevant if you have their abilities.
It's most definitely relevant, right?
Yeah. Oh, you Arven first to make sure you can discard the...
Oh, discard the Hammer, right?
Third, yeah.
There's a Canceling Cologne left in there, just in case.
Just in case.
So Canceling Cologne is what you use to get around the Clef Key later on.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't believe you need the Hammer currently.
Okay. Order of Operations. Vessel before the Lotto. That's interesting.
Yep. Well, because Lotto's like trying to get you like double turbo, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So you want to turbo energize, you want to thin the deck out as much as possible. While Lotto is like real good, you just don't want to hit a lightning energy with it. You want to just be able to be at this point where you're switching back and forth between both Iron Thorns, where no matter what you're switching, both are ready to go.
Yep. Iron Thorns is just such a cool design. Like, someone looked at Tyranitar and said, I can do you one better. And then they did.
And they were like, what if... It's like the $1 Million Man, right? I don't know if you're well aware of the $1 Million Man.
No, you have to make me aware of this.
We have the technology. Yeah.
Oh, they rebuilt him.
Yeah,
but do they have the technology?
I mean, look, you know what? Okay, hold on. We gotta pause for 2 seconds because the Gardevoir player is setting up. We do have 3 Ralts on the bench all ready to go.
That's good.
Along with the technical machine evolution. So I don't remember. So the Turbo Energize was the energy card, or was the card grabbed off of Arven. We do have to understand that another card that needs to be grabbed off. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Interrupt. Alarm sounds are blaring. Double Turbo was drawn naturally off the top. So now you're trying to figure out, what do I grab off the Turbo? Probably 2 more Iron Thorns.
Oh, yeah.
You no longer need that Energy Lotto because you have that DTE in hand. And we have the Penny as well.
Looking pretty good. Knocking out that Curlia.
You have to, though.
We're
the way that
shoes.
you win. They're talking about margarine bread in chat.
Yeah, let's go, chat.
I think we've infected chat just a little bit.
Margarine
but again,
on my bread. The margarine of error. Wow, chat,
chat's on fire tonight, guys.
Here. Wow, chat is someone's username is Buttery Prince Albert.
I absolutely.
I guess the butter crowd is coming out.
PJ says this matchup is so bad if the Guardy player isn't a bot, meaning if the Guardy player can critically think, and we've seen from the Guardy player doing the triple Monkey Dory that they can think pretty well.
Yep.
Again, I tell everybody whenever somebody plays against Gardevoir, the number one way to beat Gardevoir in the current format is to simply just knock out the Curlias as they pop up. They are not playing rare candies.
Mm-hmm.
So we are at the point where people cannot come back as super hard if you knock out the Curlias off the board.
Okay, we're seeing a discard of the Devo. Grab 2 lightning. Or not lightning, 2 lightning. 2 psychic.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Thorn says zap my brain. Excuse me.
That's okay.
What are the odds that we see Mind Bend for the Confusion? pretty high.
I think it's a higher chance, but they might
I
just
think it's
switch
pretty
it out. I don't know. Well, oh, there's the clef key. There's the clef key. Let's go.
Okay. Klefki. Now that could be either an attack or a retreat. Real open question here. Oh, mind bend.
It's an attack. It's an attack.
When the confusion goes burr. There's Arvin.
I gotta read the Monkey Dory attack just so that I can get it back in my head. It's 60 damage.
Plus confusion. Man. Never sleep on confusion. That's real. Oh, Prime Catcher Declare Confusion would be devastating.
I mean, why not though? At this point,
exactly. It's perfect. Go get a Kirlia.
I think they just. God, it's so like it hurts me so much that this is happening, but.
Or you get the.
Ooh, okay. You know what?
No, you get the Gardevoir.
You know what? It's fine. It is perfectly fine. Again, remember, what's the number one thing when you play against it? Knock out the Kirlias.
Knock out the Kirlia. Yep.
And then we'll
then
get
they
that
can't draw cards.
Vault Cyclone moving the energy probably back onto the Iron Thorns. That's such a very generic thing that I said here. Moving it back onto the Iron Thorns. Which one? It only plays Iron Thorns.
Ooh, now that's interesting. I was thinking, why wouldn't you hold the tool in your hand just in case they boss either one? Well, the strategy was simple. It was simply just put down the energy on the other one, and now all of a sudden both of them are equally threatening.
Correct.
Genius.
Correct.
Genius.
Oh,
and now,
gosh.
I guess you could. No, there's another Arvin. You could grab another future capsule. So there's no mind bend loop happen. Ooh, reset stamp.
Reset stamp is
reset
so
stamp.
good in this part
Reset
right
stamp.
here.
Colress's tenacity.
PJ brings up a really
People are
good
so nervous
point.
about
You
playing that
could
card.
simply just manually load up a Gardevoir EX and attack.
Oh yeah, you could. And 190 would do not quite enough, but Monkey Dory would seal the deal.
Right, because right now Monkey Dory doesn't do much because of the fact that Klefki
No Gardevoir, no damage.
Right.
So I think I interrupted you.
No, you are perfectly fine.
I'm not okay, all right? Gardevoir won the last round, and I know you said nice things that I wasn't really a hater, but I was. I was a Gardevoir hater.
If it makes
and
you
now
feel
all
better,
my chickens are coming to roost.
If it makes you feel better, someone just said earlier that Cole Riz's tenacity.
Cole Riz's tenacity?
So I don't like this play. This was a big mistake on the Iron Thorns.
No! The double turbo.
That stinks. And they had the other energy in hand just in case. That stinks so bad. But it's
that
not.
hurts.
And the problem is that double Monkey Dory's out. There's no Klefki in the active, so you just simply move 90 off or 60 off onto the other Iron Thorns. That misplay would be. I'm so sorry, chat. Chat said never punished and then never mind.
That's game changing.
Yeah, that's actually
never mind.
Yeah, I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry. If you are rooting for Iron Thorns, that is so heartbreaking. And the worst part is that the Iron Thorns player has nothing in hand, so because they didn't take a prize. Oh gosh. Okay.
Oh, everything's in KO range for Gardevoir now. Oh
Yeah.
no.
So you simply just move everything up. Oh, okay. Well, the other confusion, I guess, is pretty rough.
How are you gonna retreat? Oh, another double turbo. Sure. No.
You just
Done.
why would you just not
confused.
retreat? Okay, never punished, I guess.
Never punished.
Never punished, I guess.
Never punished. Where are you gonna put the other double turbo?
You don't move the double. Oh no. No, you have a lightning energy.
You want a hand. You want a hand. That was so risky. Not like, what if you coin flip negative there? Like,
then you just lose.
Yeah. Now, like, it looks like Guardy hasn't taken prizes, but it's a lot of damage.
I think Klefki is like. I think it was all a part of the Gardevoir player's plan.
It was all part of the plan. You're right.
Well, it was to get Klefki out, right? The idea was to stall as much as possible, not have to manually retreat if you don't have to, so that you could constantly use the Monkey Dory anyway, right? The problem is that our Gardevoir player has so many cards in hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just do whatever you want.
Is deck out a real issue here? Probably not.
No, not
I
at
mean,
all.
because yeah. Well, I mean, you have Iono and there's reset stamp, but that's already been played. But like, is there a scenario where you trap a Curlia active?
Oh, and then just hold it there? I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
probably
think
not. But you want to be conscious of those kinds of options before you realize you don't need them.
there's the counter catcher. I like this play a lot because
That's
by
a good
doing
play.
this, now you make it so that neither one
Ooh.
can attack. So not knowing what's in hand, right? This is like the perfect
Right.
play.
That's the play.
So you move damage off of the Gardevoir onto the other guy. So what's going to happen is that
Oh.
every hit that goes onto this Gardevoir is just going to be Monkey Doried to that other Iron Thorns.
Yep. That's pretty devastating.
This Gardevoir player is like fantastic.
This Gardevoir player has been topping late night events in the EU spectrum for a good several weeks. So I fully believe that Koiwashi has the sauce.
I don't know about you, but I might be buying more Gardevoir. I have Gardevoir together, kind of, but I might be like blinging out Gardevoir a little bit more.
I have Gardevoir, but I recognize that I do not have the ability to triple Monkey Dory in a turn. So we'll be moving on.
Oh, this is such a good Airy, but like, it's not good enough. It's not good enough.
Massive.
You attack here, but like nothing happens.
It's not
because
working.
of the double DTE. That's the whole reason. The whole situation here that they're in is because of the double DTE.
DTE, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, they don't even get a knockout next turn. So now you just go Monkey Dory, move.
I think you do.
Artisan gets the Scream Tail, I think. No, there's nothing left. It was probably just a deck check.
Yeah.
This is not good here.
Ultra Ball.
You get probably another Gardevoir.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well,
because Gardevoir. So Gardevoir is your main attacker here, right? So the idea is that if your Gardevoir gets knocked out, you have a backup Gardevoir. The problem is what's going to happen next turn is that Arvin's probably going to find a de-evolution to get a knockout on the active, but you may not even need that.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like you've explored this matchup, and certainly you have more than I have. If I had to reread Iron Thorns, but
well, so I'm
two
like
Gardevoirs,
I am doing what if you're in the writing field or anything of the sort, they would call it stream of consciousness. That is currently what is happening. I am deciphering this live.
Well, Chad is watching your streams, and they're watching our consciousnesses, so I think you've got the plan down.
Chad says Iron Thorns is a trash deck. Changed my mind. I think Iron Thorns was very good for the meta it was crafted to fight. But as people realize that Iron Thorns is a deck that people have to play against, Iron Thorns has gotten worse.
Yeah,
also,
it needed the surprise factor.
And I will... Okay, hold on. Before we get anything here, I 100% think that this Gardevoir player has been fantastic. Like, we cannot talk any smack about this Gardevoir player. They have been, like, on point throughout everything. They knew exactly what to do. They've done plays that I haven't even thought of.
Very
I'm so into it.
Yeah, this Gardevoir player is extraordinarily talented with Gardevoir, and it shows. Arvin.
So, like, in my mind, you get de-evolution, right? And you probably get de-evolution and then, like, Crushing Hammer, but Lost Vacuum's pretty good, too. Lost Vacuum's going to hit the Artisan.
That's good. Oh, and that's why you want the second Gardevoir. Oh. Because now if you devolve and you knock it out, the first one,
then you just promote Klefki and you win the game.
Smart. There's levels to this.
Look, there is huge amounts of like layers, right? It's like an onion, it has layers. Yeah, unfortunately, dude, that was such a good game. Oh my gosh.
That was so good.
Dude,
without the double DTE. I think Thorn still lost there, but that was close.
It would have been so much closer.
Yep.
Why not boss the second Guardy? That's actually a really good point. They could have bossed the second Guardy and kind of locked it in the active and hope that nothing else could take it, but then they'd have to take out prize eventually. And if you don't do that, then you kind of just sit there and you hope for better things. So, guys,
they knocked them both off of the double Devo.
That's true. That is double Devo. Okay, we're gonna move to, let's move to go chat a little bit while we wait for our next round, and we will talk to you guys in a little bit.
All right, our next round is final, so don't go anywhere.
Yeah, please do not go anywhere. Hello, everybody, and we are back. Michaela, what do you think? What overall, before we go to finals, what do you think about everything going on today?
I'm flattered that you believe that I think it all.
Okay.
But other than that, looking at our finals matchup, today we are seeing a extremely skilled Gardevoir player versus a extremely skilled Snorlax player. Both players have shown us in their stream matches prior that they know how to make the circumstances work. And the interesting thing about this control matchup is that there's not a real single ruins everything on Gardevoir's side of the field defensive option. You know, Snorlax could do a ton of damage because there's no switch cards. Right. So Snorlax is the key.
I think when it comes down to it, I'm pulling up the lists now so that we could talk about it. But as we pull up, like, you know, the Snorlax versus Gardevoir list, I think Snorlax, I don't want to say years ago because that's not true. Snorlax, like two sets ago, would have been fantastic in the Gardevoir. But I think with all the extra pieces Snorlax needs to run to play into everything in the current meta, it dilutes that matchup.
Absolutely. Like, and the fact that Turo is in the list does not hurt either.
Right. Man, the fact that Turo's there. And Turo's played to go into control, right? And the fact that we have Klefki there, we have so many additional attackers. Snorlax players are going to be super sad. But I can't believe we're in a meta again where we're seeing two decks from like 2 metas ago be like the top decks of late night. My gosh, you reject Terra Crystal, reject Stellar Crown, embrace Gardevoir. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Stellar Crown decks are just so unsolved right now. It's not the most surprising thing to see older styles do well, but it is surprising to see these older styles do well.
Okay, I really think that there's a reason why decks are called old reliable, right? So I don't know if you were okay. So I really like Guardy, as you can tell, right? As we've gone through all night, we found out that I'm a giraffe hater and a Guardy lover.
I thought you said you weren't a giraffe hater. We had a whole thing
Chat
about
has
how
deemed it,
I
okay?
psyoped you into that.
Yeah, I know. Look, you know what? That'll forever be. Look, guys, if we I was about to do like the very much.
Hater?
I was gonna be like, guys, if we get this many subs, I'll put in my Twitter bio giraffe hater type
You
of thing.
wouldn't do that to giraffes. What have giraffes ever done to you?
Apparently lost the Gardevoir. That's that's
you
start.
The Gardevoir skin. If anything, I'm the giraffe hater now.
Yeah, Michaela, this is the start of your villain arc.
No, we can't.
Okay, all right.
It's over for me and giraffes. New best friend is Gardevoir.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so back to talking about the matchup though. Gardevoir is very much a deck that was, so we had this weird thing, right, where Gardevoir was Drifloom, we had like Cresselia, we had like all these weird tech cards that kind of helped fit into the meta. And then the more and more you played it, the more and more you were like, well, I could do this, but then I could synergize off more tools, right? So you got like, you got Screaming plus Cape, and you got a whole bunch of other like different like weird combinations, right? You had Cape, you had Bravery Charm, you had all these other different things, and then you'd stack all that damage and you get knockouts, and you didn't care if you got knockouts in return because your knockouts were more efficient because you'd always knock out 2 prizers. Then we got into a meta where Jamming Tower was going to be like the next big thing. And like, if I were a clickbait YouTuber, I'd have like a thumbnail that just says the death of Gardevoir, and it's just a picture of Jamming Tower, right?
With like 2 little red X's across its eyes. Or
something. Yeah. Or it'd be like a modern art piece where it would have like, some like sharpen filter on top of the Jamming Tower so that it looks like super obscure or whatever. But then from there, it didn't even kill Gardevoir. Gardevoir just didn't care. Gardevoir was like, okay, I'm not as good now as I used to be, but I'm just not really a thing.
Let me put it this way. If Charizard did not stop Gardevoir, if having a massive dark deck cover the entire format, plus Roaring Moon didn't stop Gardevoir, I don't think anyone can. Except for bricking turn 1. That's
Gardevoir. Bad Gardevoir players are the thing that kills Gardevoir. Let's be real honest.
There's no bad Gardevoir players. There's only decks that don't want to cooperate.
There's no bad Gardevoir players. There's only new Gardevoir players. Let's be real honest.
That's a good point. Point.
But I will say this, I'm really excited to see how this control matchup goes because both players seem to be very, very on top of their game.
This is... I'm loosely calling it like slightly for Gardevoir, but this could actually go either way because this control player knows how to play to every single out possible, and they will find them.
But like, we might see a triple Monkey Dory again. Like, you never know.
That was so hype. I'm still losing my mind. I'm like, I'm gonna go to sleep tonight and be like, wow, that was a triple Monkey Dory on stream. Like, that's just, it's not even. It's 3 monkeys, but whatever. I never see 3 monkeys.
Right, so exactly. Heck, you never see people play down 2 Monkey Dories. You usually run 2 Monkey Dories for redundancy, right? But you never really play them both at the same time. And when you do, you go, oh, wow, this is unfortunate. And then you get into the matchups where it really matters, and you're like, wow, this is so cool. So, all right.
It's like plus 90. Oof.
I think we've talked your ear off now, and I believe they're starting to play. So we're going to move over to finals right away, guys. We will talk to you soon.
Send in the finals.
Howdy, folks. Welcome
started with
back.
game 1.
Go right ahead as I fix this up.
He's fixing things up. We are getting right back into game 1 of finals. We are Gardevoir versus Control, and it's not just any Control, it's Snorlax Control, a format type of Control that has not necessarily been the top contender, but maybe it's her time to shine. We have this really big hand. We have a point of view of the Control player, which is pretty good because you could generally get a sense of what the Gardevoir player is going to do, but it's hard to have that same perspective from the Control side. So let's see what we're doing. Silene double heads, always a good start, although Silene early is interesting. Looks like Airy got played, some Boss got played. Oh yeah, good stuff.
And this is one of those things that like cards like Accompanying Flute and Erica's feel very dead in the matchup unless you... So you kind of have to do this weird dance, right? As the player playing against Control and also the Control player. And it's what's going on that 5th slot. right? So as a control player, you want to try to play Flute, or you want to try to play Erica's, or things of the sort to fill out that fifth slot to make it so that things can't come down. But at the same time, you also want to just have options open. Control is such a weird matchup, man. We see a Curly in the active with a Dark Energy on there.
That's unusual. You think it's gonna attack, or I guess we'll just put down a Gardevoir and we'll see.
Well, I think the biggest thing that's coming down right now is that they're getting ready to retreat into the Klefki, right? Because Klefki is so good here because, well, they can't retreat into the Klefki because Snorlax. But at the end of the day, I'm guessing what we missed was the first play, which was getting Klefki out right away, which is huge, right? Klefki, if both decks are playing the slow game, Gardevoir wins, right? The reason why Gardevoir wins is because of the fact that Klefki and all this other stuff can really shut down your opponent's Pokemon, right? So Klefki being the active shuts down Rotom, which really hurts Control a lot. But
And doesn't Klefki's attack discard tools?
it does. That's something that you never
That's another
bring up.
thing against Rotom. The Hero's Cape on it. Bye-bye. Woo. See you later.
Misfortune Sisters hitting pretty hard, hitting that Super Rod, which is probably one of the most important things to hit in the matchup.
Handheld fan. I'm a big fan.
I will. Can I tell you though that Fan is probably one of the stronger cards in this matchup overall because shifting. So, sorry, I feel like I'm nerding out over Gardevoir a lot, but I love the deck so much.
Apologizing? Nerd out, man.
So one of the biggest problems with Gardevoir is that you can get to this part where you get energy locked, right? So I've done it multiple times. Energy locked meaning you have energy on board, you have no way to get it off the board so that you can ramp and put damage counters on stuff. When you're learning Gardevoir, it's one of the hardest things to get your head around. You go, I want to put energy here because I can. I want to have a backup attacker just because I can. And the answer is no, keep them in the discard, only use them when you need them. So Fan makes it so that you get energy stuck on other places where you don't want them.
Yeah, and when you have the energy spread across the board, can you even use them at all? And the answer is usually no.
My gosh, this is so crazy to see this matchup. Like Snorlax being in the active, not having any switch out of the active for the Curlia, right, is going to be a big problem. There might be, look, there's a world where like we see right now, Gardevoir might be coming down, and with Gardevoir coming down, Psychic Embrace comes out and you just start swinging.
And you could put 3 energy down, you could put 2 energy down, doesn't matter, because you'll be able to just put them right back onto the Gardevoir no matter what the Fan is doing. Although Gardevoir cannot attack through Cornerstone, so that's something to keep in mind.
There is one thing though that I'd like to bring up that I really am like kind of worried about, or like something that would have been cool. Never mind. Let's.
No, what?
I was thinking about like the dark energy being on the Gardevoir, which like makes this weird situation where you don't want to move around the psychic energy because of the fact that like, you know, it's kind of a dumb thought, but like having Monkey Dory and other stuff out with the dark energy is not something that you really want to do. So Fan is like kind of detrimental there because you want to move the psychic, but you don't want to leave the dark energy in the active. Look, Snorlax coming back out. Fan proving to really be a menace here.
Team yells cheer, Penny or Iono?
You have to Iono. So
yeah, the hand. Yeah.
If I'm the Snorlax player, sorry, I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm like hyper fixated. Let's go.
Let's hear it.
So I'm the Snorlax player, right? As someone that understands both decks, your normal tricks do not work in this matchup. You can't just simply stick Ogerpon in the active, and you can't simply just stick Mimikyu or Snorlax in the active. You have to be very on top of it, and you have to be very interactive with your opponent. Your opponent moves one way, you have to dodge the other way. You can't just simply be there and rely on all your old tricks.
Dip, dodge, dive, duck, and dodge.
Exactly.
The basics of control. Curly is going down. Oh, and surprise, they didn't evolve the active one. I guess there's only so many Gardevoirs you could put down.
Right.
Oh, and the other cool thing is that the Ralts's attack lets you pivot it out of the active. So that's neat.
I remember when Gardevoir was first being played in the E block, people played one of this Gardevoir. They didn't, or one of the Ralts. They played the memory blank one too.
Yep.
But they played the teleportation burst one specifically to get into a position where we are right now.
I missed the memory block one. I thought that was a really fun. Like attacks that prevent your opponent from using attacks are always fun to me.
I totally get it. I totally get it, especially with it being attached to something like a Ralts, which easily gets knocked out through a switch. But man, as we were saying
Klefki.
earlier, the Klefki in the active, it has to force the boss's orders. This is such a good play, right? So you force the boss's orders because you want to be able to draw off the Rotom.
Okay, instant charge. Bzz. There's some thought here.
Look, I'm still thinking too.
I mean, this is like, you have to be thinking 20 steps ahead with 50,000 options each turn. Like this, you need a computer to calc this out. But since we don't have access to those, we have to use our brains, and that's a complicated procedure.
Again, like the fact that Gardevoir is already out, what the Snorlax player has to do is the Snorlax player has to attempt to fan all the energy off to stuff that doesn't matter. But the thing is that everything on the board matters, right? So you're never going to go as low on energy here because wherever the fan... Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So wherever the fan moves the energy to, right? It can't... By the way, the really cool thing about this, the weird card interaction, you can't move it to the Klefki because the Klefki's now in the active. So the counter... Sorry, that's really weird. But because the Ralts moves the Klefki to the active, right? You have to move the psychic energy somewhere else, and it will always go to another Pokemon that matters. Because everywhere where you attach here absolutely matters. The only thing that you don't want the energy on is the Klefki. That is such a cool play.
Wow. My brain hurts. My brain literally hurts so much.
That's okay, because you're pulling a double shift tonight, so you get to watch even more exciting Pokemon on the NA stream that'll be happening in a couple hours. So folks,
when you started talking about hyperfixation,
yeah,
because you were hyperfixating on the matchup. When you hyperfixate, it's all coming out of your mouth. When I hyperfixate, like it's just like this. It's a scene in Queen's Gambit where she's looking at the ceiling and there's pieces on the ceiling, and like my words have just failed me because there's just so much to appreciate here.
Do you want to know a really cool fact? Well, because this is really rough, right? Because we're gonna be chatting about a bunch of other stuff while this goes on because there's only so many different plays you can do as the Snorlax player, right? Gosh, no energy left in deck for Earthen Vessel, so that card was just discarded just to do a deck search.
Unless that was a purposeful whiff.
Could be that you want to Ione it back up to hand.
Yeah, like Gigabrain. No. TM Devo. Psychic Embrace. That Ralts is getting, not that this matters, but it's getting into knockout range, which means there's only so many times it can keep using the switch play.
I'm so confused on... So chat asked for that interaction, could you move it to the Ralts? So you cannot... So the reason why that works that way, the reason why you cannot move it to the Ralts is because the energy is still being moved off the Ralts. So it's like you don't have anything on there, right? So by attaching and then doing all this stuff and moving all this stuff around, it's like this really weird rules interaction. So you have to... When an energy gets moved off of a Pokemon, that Pokemon cannot be the target for the energy to move to. So since Klefki can also not be the target, we're just in a really cool situation.
Ooh.
Now, it looks like the Gardevoir player conceded.
See that out of nowhere?
I don't think it's out of nowhere. I think they're out of energy. I think some of their energy was prized.
Would be it. Okay. Because I was thinking there was another one, but if that vessel really did fail, then that would explain it. Oh, bummer.
Chat,
no, but you're on a good point about effects resolving.
Yeah. So always think about it this way, right? You try to meet the condition as much as possible. So Ralts being on the bench means that it cannot, so Klefki being in the active, because your stuff resolves the attack. Man, I'm speaking in like magic terms. So like I'm pushing up my glasses and I'll be like, actually. Looks like we lost stream.
Ooh.
Give us a couple seconds, folks, as we fix this up. I'm
actually that late night fan.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, they didn't end their matchup early. It's still listed
No,
as in progress.
they're still
So
going. So let's
stay tuned.
Oh, they're back up. They're back up. They just had to reset.
They just had to restart the game. That's all.
So okay,
Friend system.
so why this works the way that it does, right? Ralts is on the bench. It's not illegal. Ralts cannot move stuff to itself, right? Because it's moving off of Ralts. Klefki is no longer a legal target because it is in the active, and it says to move stuff to the bench. You always resolve your attack all the way through before you resolve your opponent's effects, right? So if you have an effect on your attack, you do that before you do your effect on your opponent's attack or your opponent's Pokemon. So that's all there is.
In Pokemon terms, the effect of the thing that you're doing resolves completely first before you do the other things. So if you were to order Ralts' switching and the handheld fan, Ralts' switch applies first. So that means it's considered the bench, Klefki is considered active. So if you were wondering if maybe the fan triggers at the same time as the attack, it's not the case. You wait for the attack to finish, then the fan triggers. It's the same sort of effect when you try to promote a Iron Leaves under Fluttermane. Iron Leaves is not in this matchup, but Iron Leaves, when you drop it down, can move from the bench to the active spot. And if you do so, you move all the energy that you want onto the Iron Leaves. But if a Fluttermane is active, does that somehow interrupt the proceedings? And it does not, because Fluttermane comes second to finishing Iron Leaves' ability.
Correct.
Yeah, knowledge of the day. Is there anything else that does that? I guess anything with the on-activate ability, like when you set it down, would have an effect like that.
Yes. It's look, Pokemon's a really cool game, and usually the way that it works is that Pokemon, when you guys view rulings for Pokemon, it's usually perceived to be whatever is almost the simplest way that it could be done is most likely the way it's done because it's a game designed for kids. Mm-hmm. By the way, this is such a bad luck for Klefki coming down turn 1 into the Rotom.
This is brutality.
Gosh.
Well, you can always just penny and start over and go to game 3.
I know, right?
I wouldn't.
I've done it before. I've pennied, so making sure that my opponent gets their win of the day or whatever without conceding or whatnot. I've pennied my stuff up.
Okay.
But I think this is perfect, right? You go Mist Energy onto the Rotom, get the Hero's Cape on there, just in case you don't have anything to retreat it, which is a possibility. Yep. It's happened before, but you're looking to draw whatever you can. Maybe you're looking to get an Airy to deal with your opponent, right? Because Airy's really good here.
That'd be good. Oh, I see her. She's in the back.
Yeah, but I think Arven is definitely what you need to go for here.
Oh, yeah.
If you had another Pokemon, right, to go to, then you grab Airy. But because
price checking, what do you think is in the Hisui and Heavy Ball category?
Well, we'll see off the... Do you want me to do it before the Nest Ball? You want me to take a wild guess?
Yeah.
I think it is like a Mimikyu and a Snorlax. Or just a Snorlax.
Okay, good odds. We won't know because they didn't look at... Oh, we will know. Oh, there's a Snorlax gone. You're right.
Okay.
No Mimikyu, though. It was just a Snorlax.
Yeah. Okay, so you know what? I'll take being half right.
Yeah. I think second Rotom is also in the prizes.
That's true. I think they probably wanted a second Rotom.
Handheld fan. I guess you don't really have to attach the fan because Klefki would just get rid of it with its attack. So
right. Well, yeah, you absolutely don't want to attach the fan, right? Because there's no reason to. I mean, you probably are moving the psychic energy off of the Klefki, right?
Ooh, discarding Screamtail. Ooh.
I think it's okay. I think the reason being is that since your hand wasn't gone after super hard, you just simply go... Okay, sorry, hold on. Before we get too much further, there is a lot of energy going into the discard right now. So attaching to the Klefki, because the Klefki is going to attack here, right?
Yep.
You don't drop the evolution yet because of the fact that you don't want to have anything else knocked out, right? So there's this world where you just have Klefki and you're just attacking with Klefki. And it's very slow and it's very monotonous, but it gets the job done until you want to set up everything else.
Yep. So, all true. And there comes Erica to get rid of the Ralts. Look at that. Let's see what's in the hand. Ooh, that's you get a Devo TM, but you also have refinement, so you should be okay.
Right. And there comes the fan.
Here's the instant charge. Bzz.
Yeah.
I'm
They
making
clicked it and
electric
then nothing.
noises, so you know that
Never mind.
it's using electric charge.
Which is-
Airy, good,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I think Airy is like actually what's needed here. Not
Yeah, you get rid of the Night Stretcher.
You
Anything
probably
else?
you get rid of. You might get rid of the
Draw.
Evos.
No, it's items only. Air only gets rid of
Oh, sorry, items only. Sorry, my bad. I'm still having our hard adjustment being like, hey, look, energy to tools. Or sorry, tools aren't items.
Yeah. Every so often that'll throw me, and I'm just like, that's an item. No, it's not. That's a tool. No, it's not.
Unironically, Sandshrew might have to come down, right? Sandshrew blocks. I'm pretty sure Sandshrew blocks things from being from their discard
Sandshrew
back
blocks
to their
trainer
deck.
cards.
Only trainers? Okay.
Yep. Because energy is Toad Scroll, trainers is Sandshrew. Sandshrew's there for Palpad, and there's another one that I guess technically Silene. Yeah.
It's for the mirror match, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, it would. Yeah, that would be
And
very important.
Charizard,
for
I'm
mirror.
pretty sure too.
It doesn't block Super Rod because again, that's Toad's. No, it's not even Toad Scroll because Toad Scroll is it's a hand, I believe. So.
Right.
Because I remember there was a debate when Sandshrew just came out of can you completely block Chen Pao from pulling energy up if you use Sandshrew and Toad Scroll, and the answer to that was no.
Right.
So
I do like this discard on the Monkey Dory, right? Because if anything that goes into the active either has to stay locked out or, has to stay locked. Basically, nothing can be put on the bench that isn't okay being in the active for the rest of the game.
Yep.
Now, I do like the Erica's coming back in and the Airy. So people might be asking at home, why did Joust... So Joust got rid of Fan. Why did Fan not move the energy to something else? And the reason being is that... So Fan checks to see if you've attacked after the attack is done completely. And because...
And while the attack was going on.
Correct.
Discarded.
Correct. And that's the effect of the ability. So...
The attack resolves first and completely before the next effect comes in. And this is different from
crazy. It's crazy.
Like if you drop a Klefki and your opponent drops a Flutter Mane, now you have to do some weird positional placement. But other than that, whatever the simplest option is, and you had it completely right. Whatever the simplest option is probably right.
Okay, so the dark energy is being attached to the Kirlia. So the reason why it's being attached to the Kirlia is just in case the Kirlia needs to attack.
Yep.
Something is there. Now, the really cool thing that I know that our Gardevoir players probably not doing on purpose. They don't see it just yet, but they are not taking a knockout, which is huge here because by not taking a knockout, they are not enabling counter catchers.
Correct. And if a counter catcher were alive, that Ralts would be going through the exact same shredder where it's energy, 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 and then they're all suddenly scrambled on the whole board.
I feel so bad for the flute. The flute did not go off. Nothing happened.
I wonder what song the accompanying flute makes. You know, like you could just like blow a note, like whoop, but like what if you had like a whole song?
It is like you remember the days when people used to play their recorders on stream? Like they're really bad high school recorders. Yeah, it's that. They're playing it's Control, right? So they're playing their recorders.
But what are they recording?
The pain of their opponent.
Well, they're certainly recording a win record in the positive range because this is the finals. So
correct.
Shout outs to that.
Correct.
Okay. 1 energy in the discard, or was it 3?
I missed it. I can check the VOD. Give me like 2 seconds.
We fumbled the bag. Chat.
Look, I have the
chat. We're fumbling the bag. We don't even know how many energy are in the discard. I can't believe it.
Let's check real quick. It looks like 3 energy in looks to be 3 energy in the discard.
That's not
the flute plays Kai Cenat songs. Maybe. Look, honestly,
Dragon Zord song.
Yeah, my gosh. I'm excited to see how our Gardevoir players looking to win here. I think our Gardevoir players just looking to get to the point where they just naturally draw into things, right? Because remember 2 weeks ago when we were working and playing, watching like the Regidrago matchups, and the Regidrago matchups were all about trying to not draw out into mill and things of the sort. I feel like this is very similar.
Yeah, I think you're right. This is the same game, but instead of having it be discarding from the top of the deck, it's slower, it's methodical.
Right.
Gentlemanly.
Everything has to have a purpose, right? You're working slow, and it's a marathon, not a race, as people like to say.
Iono's coming out. We're gonna see a hand shuffle, and that
Honestly,
could be pretty good for
good.
control.
Pretty good.
Flute's back. Erica's back.
The
League
penny's there,
HQ
too.
could put in some work.
The penny's there too. I think there's a world where you penny up this Snorlax, bring the other Snorlax out. But you don't even want to do that because you lose fan.
Lose the fan. Yeah, you don't want to lose fan.
There's the Snorlax and the Rotom. Okay, so I was 50% win rate's pretty good.
Okay, that's. I mean, you don't really want to see
really
all
bad.
that in the prizes, but like you could live with it.
The bosses orders is in the prizes. How many bosses orders do they run? They probably run like 2.
There's at least 2.
Yeah, 2 bosses orders. That means that if they bosses orders once and they don't hit the heads on the Silene or the Palpad, they are in trouble.
I mean, Countercatcher will eventually go live.
Yeah.
But when?
Yeah. They're debating whether or not the Fluttermane comes out or if anything actually even does come out, right? Because there's an option where, well, I guess you do the Monkey Dory, right? This enables the Rotom. And now that the Rotom's out, you can kind of overextend a little bit. But I guarantee that our Gardevoir player is just trying to build up as much energy as possible to just one-shot the Rotom and then get everything on the board set up to be able to attack.
Refinement.
Mm-hmm.
No hammers here. You know, there's enhanced hammer, there's crushing hammer. Is there just like a plain old hammer?
Not to hammer this point home, but I didn't have a good way to end that joke, so we're just leaving it hanging.
You're leaving it hammering. That's not even good either. Wow, you could tell it's the late night series because it's time to go to bed.
Oh my gosh.
But we have the NA North America NA right after this, so that should be a nice waker-upper. We have Misfortune Sisters getting all kinds of gold cards out. That's always good. You never want to have your Super Rod if you're the control player. You want to get rid of that pronto. They're leaving the counter catcher. Okay, they're not going for a deck out strat. I guess the deck is now so thick, like, you know, if you use Iono, you could get a dead card. So good thinking. Instant charge. Ooh, really? Back and forth in the League HQ. They're going for it. Instant charge. Instant charge is one of the few, like, there's a bunch of abilities that are like quick search, instant charge. You know, like, they have a speed element to them. Instant charge is actually instant. Like, it takes no time at all to just draw 3 cards. Quick search takes 3 years.
I think when it comes down to it, I hate to say it, this might come down to a time limit.
Really?
Right?
It could. Could though.
I
don't want to see it come down to time. For finals, we can't have it happen that way.
Yeah.
We need to rig the stream so it doesn't happen that way. Quick, call in our representatives who are at the players' houses just to go in there and tell them to speed up pace of play. We gotta get them on the phone.
Honestly, for being a control player and playing into Gardevoir, which is playing against the control player, they are playing super, super well, and they're playing more than fast enough.
Oh, absolutely. Like, this is the fastest I've ever seen a mill deck operate. But we need to make sure.
Someone is asking what is the current win-loss ratio. It is 1-0 going to Snorlax. Currently, Snorlax control is up by 1.
Chad is asking, does Guardy have no chance? Guardy absolutely has a chance.
If there's any deck in the format.
It's going to be rough going, but Guardy has a chance. There's no instant win con that defeats it. The board state is looking pretty good, except for whatever that is. That is what?
Yeah, that is not what we were expecting, but
what is that? They knocked it out.
They had to, though. They had to, right? Because they're going to get ready to knock something else out, so they're going to do a counter catcher.
And then that makes the Misfortune Sisters counter catcher. What?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Isn't that crazy?
This is
This
what?
Gardevoir player is fantastic.
I can't. Are we? This is better than the triple Monkey Dory play.
I think so too. I think so too.
Bravery Charm to self knockout versus control. I'm sorry. Did you have like intelligence for breakfast this morning? Like
They ate their Wheaties.
I'm not gonna be normal about this.
Yeah, I know, it's so
Please,
good.
please.
This matchup is so good.
Can we even do that?
Yeah, is this even allowed? Chat, is this real?
Chat, is this allowed? Artisan for nothing. 8-card deck. Joust to get rid of the tool before the Guardian pack.
Mm-hmm.
Help! I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah,
you can't counter catcher anymore.
That was such a smart play.
I didn't even notice what was taken off of the prizes because we'd seen the Hisuian Heavy Ball earlier, and I was like, oh, they'll never get any of those cards back. And I figured I didn't even need to say it. It was just default. True, they would never see their prize cards. But look who was wrong.
I mean, I was wrong. I'll be real honest.
Missed Energy, Retreat, Snorlax. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm still reeling. I've never seen such tomfoolery. I guess they could get out of Mimikyu.
Right.
I think it wouldn't be smart. But
yeah, deck out. Chat is right. Deck out is still a very big problem.
True. With the Super Rod gone, they've got 8 turns to take some prizes against Snorlax. Of all things. Yeah.
Look, you know what? Either way, I think it's a win-win because we saw some really awesome plays here. They need to shuffle in Misfortune Sisters, probably Erica's and Eri. I don't think you shuffle in Iono.
You could because there's 6 prizes left, and there's a small window in which that could actually deck them out faster.
Ends up decking them out. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a small window. It's still possible.
The cool thing is that Klefki can still retreat.
But Klefki's retreating. Gardevoir's eating.
Yeah, Gardevoir's
food's on the table.
And then, maybe you attach just enough to move some over to somewhere else. You put the dark energy there. We're moving what looks like to be 20 damage.
Interesting. I wonder why it's going on the Snorlax.
Oh, because they're getting ready for a big boy play.
Oh. With that hand size being so small and so limited.
So the only thing I don't know about. So obviously they don't know that there's a counter catcher in their hand, right? There, and there's a penny and other stuff too. There's also a fan.
Do you put down the fan? I mean, you could still get Klefki'd out of it. Is it? I guess.
Well, you're gonna
boss up the monkey.
Yeah. So the idea is that.
But it's just gonna be a mind bend or a retreat.
Right.
Yeah. Gardevoir's gonna come back in.
Well, there's no retreat because of block, right?
Oh, my bad.
No, you're okay. I do it. I literally thought it like every single time except this time tonight, right? Every time I was about to be like, he'll just simply retreat.
Don't worry. We're going to see like a quad Monkey Dory triple deck out. We're going to see some nonsense. I'm resigning myself to there's just going to be a play that I wouldn't have thought of in a billion years, and it'll be the smartest play I've ever seen coming out of these.
There's also a Turos in this person's deck, so they can always just Monkey Dory Turos maybe to bring. Yeah, there's the Turos.
There it is.
There you go. I'm throwing my hands up in the air. I'm so good at this. No matter what comes down, this is perfect. You just get Psychic Embrace to put down the energy, and you attack to get rid of the fan.
This is so much. This is
and everything. Then Gardevoir. So like the ideal way to win here. The way that you win as the Gardevoir player is you find a way to get that Klefki to your hand, and you just constantly attack with Gardevoir.
Yeah, I'm worried about I'm worried about the hand size though. 6 cards in deck. There's an Erica right there. Like that's you're gonna get stuck with something active. Ooh, Drifloon.
None of these are good targets though.
Yeah. I mean, Drifloon at least. No, it's still an attacker.
What
You have
else
to
is in
pick
hand?
the
It looks like
Gardevoir.
Curlia, Gardevoir.
Gardevoir. Yeah.
Um,
Monkey Dory. Is there anything you could do here? Getting Erica there is not fun.
right.
Okay. We can still attack. So it's not out of the question. Oh, there's another dark energy. That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
I'm looking to see. I'm
Nest
trying to
ball
get
to just
another
take a
view.
look in there. Oh, nope.
Yeah.
Nothing. 5 turns is not going to be enough to cut it. There needs to be a switch, or else this is going to go to control. I think there's just too many Snorlaxes.
Mm-hmm. And then
And the
Penny
confusion
comes
isn't
up.
even relevant anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, Penny will just lift it up. But here's the Arvin. You're gonna get another fan, right? So.
Sheesh. I still think deck out's happening.
Yeah, it has to.
So you don't even need another fan. You simply just promote the fan. This is why fans should be in charge.
It's true. It's true.
Come on, Guardy player. Find that weird out. Do some sort of nonsense.
Do the thing. I think right now, the goal is to knock out the Snorlax on the back line. And then, you know, just move stuff around, see if an out is on the if there is an out somewhere. Okay, here's the real question. Why not move the dark energy? You move the dark energy, it can no longer move damage counters. But here comes the Misfortune Sisters. That's probably going to mill whatever is left in their deck.
I mean, I was thinking the same thing too. Like, why wouldn't you move the dark energy? Maybe maybe they don't care if the Snorlax gets knocked out. Because they still want to use, never mind. I was going to say counter catcher, but it's already live.
Right.
It's left in deck.
There's an Iona left in deck. Okay. This game is still live. So they messed up. Not messed up. Because there was no way for them to know. But moving that dark energy is probably the play. You move it onto the Klefki.
Mm-hmm.
Psychic Embrace goes there. You put 2 on there, I'm pretty sure, right?
I think you have to.
Well, because you want to knock out the... I think this is a little bit of a misplay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Maybe the idea is that, like... Yeah, there you go. There's the dark being
There's
moved.
the dark energy.
Maybe they have a dark energy in hand or something? Or maybe...
No,
maybe...
there's no way. There's already 2 down. Is there a third?
No, there's
There's
no
already
third.
a third in the discard. There's no way.
Yeah, so
There's
here's
no
the
way.
penny to lift up the Snorlax, probably on the bench. In
No.
the active, okay. Oh, I guess that makes sense, right? Because you don't want to lose to being attacked.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And you don't care about the
Well,
one on the bench because
This
it
is
actually
so
doesn't matter.
tough. Is there anything? I don't think Gardevoir can wiggle out of this.
I don't think Gardevoir wiggles out of this either.
There's not enough wiggling.
Yeah. And with that,
GG.
we have a late night winner in Snorlax control tonight. I hope you guys are enjoying this. We're going to go wrap up and then we'll get ready to call it for the night. We will see you guys very soon. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. That's the conclusion of Late Night EU 207. Michaela, what do you think? What did you think about the matchups today? What did you think about everything else?
I witnessed greatness. I was here to witness greatness, and I believe most of you were here too. There were some incredible plays from the Gardevoir player. Unfortunately, weren't enough to take it over that Snorlax player who had it in the bag. Devastatingly good Snorlax play.
The fans are really like huge in what happened there. You know, being able to move that energy around as needed, get enough disruption to the point where, like, you know, the Gardevoir player just couldn't come back, right?
Handheld fan made it possible.
Yeah, guys, all possible to viewers like you, fans like you, right? So I think I'm looking over the lists today. I just want to talk a little bit about the lists before we wrap up.
We gotta talk about metagame.
Yeah, let's talk about it overall. Let's talk about the metagame overall as I pull it up.
Okay.
We had a huge amount of Raging Bolt Ogerpons today.
Yes, that was our top deck.
Mm-hmm. As well as Charizard Pidgeot, Dragapult Pidgeot. We had some Palkia Noctowls too. I remember that was something that you said that you really just were like not feeling, right, after testing and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm upset about Palkia Noctowl. It's of the 4 that we just listed, that's the new archetype thanks to Stellar Crown, giving you the ability to have 8 Pokemon on your bench, boosting Palkia's damage output from the cap of like 260 to like 320 before tools. So, you know, good days ahead for those of you who were previously Palkia and Teleon enjoyers. Here's the problem. The lists are not yet optimized. I don't see anybody in our player list who is playing Palkia Noctowl with a name that I recognize, so it seems like people are just sort of like picking it up on the side, learning it on their own. They haven't mastered the sauce the same way Raging Bolt Ogerpon is solved, or the same way Charizard is more or less locked in on its basics.
We did see a little bit of, like, you know, Palkia Dusknoir and stuff like that. I've seen a lot of people getting angry about Dusknoir coming out because of how, you know, the tree is coming out, and people are like, with the tree, people can just hit for large numbers, and it's absurd, and I'm just like, I mean, it's good, but the problem with stuff like Tree is that you give it to your opponent as well. And that's why Area 0 is kind of weird too, because if everybody's teching for Area 0, you kind of get hurt a little bit. But
yeah,
I mean, it is what it is. We've seen so many other cool lists tonight too. You know, we saw a bunch of Charizard. Gardevoir was a lot more representative than I thought. We had 14 Gardevoir lists tonight.
And they were winning a lot of those games. There were 9 ties in the Gardevoir group, so that was higher than everyone else. But 38 wins to 28 losses. Gardevoir players could be eating good.
Right. And
are they playing Henry Chow Gardevoir? No, they would have changed it for the new format.
No, I believe so. Yeah, you are correct. We did see some other cool lists too, like Goldengo played and it got some wins, and then they dropped the Goldengo players.
Dropped. Oh.
Yeah. Someone was
How
playing
about the Maridon
Sinistea.
mirror? Sinistea?
Yeah, so I ran into this on the ladder. They play, so you play Sinistea and Sinistea EX, and the idea is that you that's not the one I was looking at, but you discard grass energy to deal 70 for each grass you discard this way, right? I'm sorry, you discard from your Pokemon, so you deal like 210 on an attacker for 1 energy, so that's pretty good.
Good stuff.
And like I saw some of the Sinistea EX stuff too, which has been absurd. So like you use stuff like Grant to discard more stuff and to draw more, and like you get all your grass into the discard, and then Sinistea EX hits for a ton of damage. So, but I mean, overall, I think Late Night is really at the point where I absolutely love, right? We get to a newer, different meta, and we see a bunch of old stuff flourish. Dragapult's back, however you feel about that. So
it was an extraordinarily healthy top cut as well. Of our top 16 decks, only 10 people played the same deck, meaning that there were no more than 2 people playing the same deck, no matter what archetype was chosen. Fantastic.
Well, I think with that, we are going to get ready to close it up for tonight for the EU session. You know, for someone that for us being told that it was going to be a short EU session, it was actually just about a normal EU session for us.
Yeah, we had a lot of players come in. It's good to see.
So, Michaela, thank you for joining me today. If people want to find you, where would they go about and find you?
I'll tell you, the fastest place you can find me again is at late night NA casting tonight. I will be back on the microphone at 3 a.m. Eastern time. Actually, it's slightly earlier than that. If I make it to 3 a.m., it'll be impressive for all of us. So come back onto this stream later this evening for the North American Late Night Tournament of the Night. Other than that, I'm really into the void.
Okay. And guys, I have been Voiden. I have been your host for tonight. You guys can find me on Shuffle Squad, where I host every other weekend. And on top of that, if you want to watch some of my content, learn a bunch of stuff about the metagame, and also learn Pokemon, you can find me on YouTube at Voiden Pokemon. And yeah, I teach beginner stuff. I give very clean intros about decks and how to play them. So
very knowledgeable.
Yeah, PJ yelled at me last time because I didn't promote myself. So
oh,
you can also find me on Twitter at Voiden. Guys, that's about it for us. If you enjoyed this type of content, stick around. We're gonna have a late night NA coming up soon with Koopa and Michaela. And you know, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, let people know that you enjoyed this type of content. Guys, I will talk to you soon. Have a fantastic night. And as always, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye, chat.